In your testimony, Mr. Ham, she had more than one boyfriend.
Yes, Your Honor, and she's married too, and she's still technically married now. She's not divorced now, she's still technically married. And she had 2 boyfriends too. So this is why I'm in a point where, okay, this can't really be my child. She got in the car with me, and we left that same day, and we had unprotected sex that same day. We had sex that same day. And after we had sex that day, we was like peas, she was on my heels, we was together.
No, actually, how can you be with somebody after 2 days of knowing them? How can you be with somebody?
You slept with the first day.
You didn't even, so what? You had.
So what? But you just said it was the second day.
Okay, look, you had unprotected.
And I'm not lying. Yeah, we did.
At
The first day I met you. I'm not lying.
How can you be in a
about
relationship with somebody you just met?
Why is it you believe he's not the father?
From day one, I never believed that he was the father, Your Honor.
Me out your
I
mouth.
never believed that he
you
was the father.
Why is the
Chaos erupts as high school sweetheart Miss Walton steps into the courtroom, claiming that her 9-year relationship with Mr. Cherry is on the line. Why? Mr. Cherry accuses Miss Walton of cheating on him multiple times, leading him to question the paternity of their 1-year-old child, and so the case begins.
Ms. Walton, you say your 9-year relationship with your high school love is in jeopardy because he denies fathering your 1-year-old son, Josiah. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
This is a lot to process for a couple that has been together for so long. 9 years is no small feat, yet now Mr. Cherry is ready to walk away if the results reveal the child isn't his.
Mr. Cherry, you really have doubt?
Yes, I do. I do have doubts because throughout our relationship, it's been just straight lies, you know, so.
Not true.
I just want to be here to let her know that everything that's been going on in our relationship is just lies.
Based on what he just said, I think we can all agree he's willing to let go of everything. He describes their 9-year relationship as rocky and full of lies.
Hectic between me and her, you know, she decided to want to do what she want to do. I decided to do what I want to do. But, you know, we had set all that to the side and just decided that we're going to do this together.
So you said you did what you wanted to do and she did what she wanted to do. Does that mean you all were dating other people and seeing other people?
If he cheated, I cheated.
If both partners have the mentality that cheating is acceptable, how do they expect the relationship to work? They both agreed to see other people. Why are they now angry when things have gone south? It's almost laughable.
At the time, we had our first daughter first, so we was doing the family thing, you know, happy. He started messing around when he don't get attention from me, or if I don't do what he wants me to do, because he gets controlling, he gets in his little ego and want to go to a female that backs down.
When will people learn that once you're with someone new, you need to leave the past behind? What's even more shocking is that they already have 2 kids together. This situation is just wild.
Josiah's birthday is August 18th of 2015.
Okay.
Okay. Me and my ex stopped dating a week before Thanksgiving of 2015, which was the 23rd through the 29th. We slept
okay, so the
together
23rd to the 29th, you with Mr. Cherry?
Yes.
And let's talk about the math here. Miss Walton claims she stopped seeing her ex a week before she conceived the child. I'm sorry, but that's cutting it way too close. There's a strong chance the baby was conceived before the timeline she's claiming.
This is what she told me. She said that a guy that came over that looked something similar like me but had goals in his mouth. And these are the messages that I have. It's 1:55 in the morning. Where you supposed to be at 1:55 in the morning. But I'm at the house with the kids.
So wait, 1:55 a.m., come get me.
This is from her friend's Facebook account.
Oh.
Yes, we won't ignore the fact that Mr. Cherry also cheated. But let's be real. Leaving the house at 1 a.m.? Where was she going? Who was she sneaking off to see?
Ms. Walton, where is his place?
Probably at his house. And at that time, he was cheating too. So why should I be faithful to somebody that's not faithful neither, Yon?
So you basically admitting that during that time you were having sex with somebody else?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I don't deny. Why lie?
To be honest, Miss Walton doesn't seem very remorseful about cheating. Just look at her expression. It makes you wonder if she even wants to be part of this family. Something about her demeanor feels off.
When you found out you were pregnant, who did you tell?
I told my best friend.
And you told Mr. Cherry?
Yes.
Did you tell the other man?
No.
Because did you ever think to potentially be his child, or you just didn't want him to know?
He cannot be my child's father.
How can you definitively say he is not my child's father?
Oh, come on. She seriously said she knows in her heart that Mr. Cherry is the father? That's not how this works. Could the other guy actually be the father?
And so, did you have doubts while you were there?
I didn't have doubts.
Yeah, because his color.
I didn't have doubts at that moment, but as he started getting a little older, his facial features looked like me when he was born, but as he started getting older, and I started seeing this other guy's picture of his face, it started resembling him. So that's what I'm doubting for.
He genuinely seems like a good father, even telling the judge that he attended every single doctor's appointment when Miss Walton was pregnant. Well, now it all comes down to the DNA results.
Mr. Cherry, you are the father.
Mr. Fuller and his mother are in court today to prove that the defendant, Miss Nelson, is trying to take his daughter away from him. He claims that she initially told him he was the father, allowing him to build an incredible bond with the child.
Mr. Fuller, you and your mother are here today to prove that you fathered the defendant's 2-year-old daughter, Milani.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Nelson, you acknowledge Mr. Fuller's relationship with your daughter, but say you are now certain that he is not your child's father and will prove it in court.
Yes, Your Honor.
How does something like this even happen? How do you tell a man he is the father of a child, let him form a deep connection, and then one day wake up and say otherwise? What could possibly be her reason?
Nelson,
Right.
as you recall, how did you let Mr. Fuller know you were pregnant?
I called him, he didn't answer. I saw that he was on Facebook, and then I wrote him on Facebook.
You say you never called his mother.
She called
Never
my
called his
phone.
mother. I didn't even have his
wasn't
mother's
checking on
number.
my phone. She called my phone and said she was pregnant.
Oh, trust me, Mr. Fuller and his mother are beyond furious. They insist they have been involved in the child's life from the moment Miss Nelson announced her pregnancy up until now.
Ms. Nelson, as much as Miss Fuller is
What?
off the hook right now, why is it you believe he's not the father?
From day one, I never believed that he was the father, Your
told
Honor.
me out your
I've
mouth.
never believed
I
that
asked
he
you,
was the
Quanda.
father.
Why is
Hold
them
on,
kids
hold
today?
on,
Why
hold
is
on.
them
Wait,
kids
wait,
today?
wait.
The courtroom is absolute chaos. There's so much yelling that no one can even get a proper statement out without wanting to tear each other apart. But can you really blame Mr. Fuller's mother for being upset? She adores that child.
My baby was about 5 or 6 months old. I was at work. I was with someone, in a relationship with someone. They were
So now at 5 months old, when the child's 5 months old, you're in a new relationship.
No, I was in a relationship before him.
Oh, before
Me
Mr.
and,
Fuller.
me and the other guy was just on a break. So he
So
did
you
something
slept
that
with
happened.
Mr. Fuller when you were on a break
Right,
from another
just
guy.
How is it even possible that they built such a strong bond with the child without her knowing? And the real shocker, she now reveals that she was actually in a relationship when she slept with Mr. Fuller.
These are text messages.
Yeah.
So from Miss Nelson, I see a message that says, "We made a beautiful little angel. I love you." Then Mr. Fuller says, "I know, BM,
Baby.
our baby, very beautiful. Thank you." That must be thank you,
Yeah.
BM for Milani. BM is
Hey, mama and baby daddy.
Thank you, Judge Lauren. For a second there, I thought I wasn't seeing things clearly. Miss Nelson is literally calling Mr. Fuller her baby daddy, saying they made a beautiful baby together.
Do you believe Mr. Fuller is Milani's biological father?
Yes,
You do.
yes.
Why do you believe your daughter cannot even believe that's a possibility that he's her biological father? What do you think this is about?
The other guy.
The other guy.
When her and the other guy gets mad, it's
Well, the truth is out now. Even her own mother isn't on her side. Miss Nelson's mother tells the court that whenever she fights with the other man, the baby suddenly becomes Mr. Fuller's.
They are over there crying.
She wanted a relationship with my child. I was not even going to let her be a part. She was like, "I don't care if this is not my grandbaby.
Let
I
her
want a
speak.
relationship with this child." She knew there was a possibility of someone else.
So wait. Your position was, I really from the get-go did not want them to have a relationship.
And here we go again with the shouting. It's hard to believe that Mr. Fuller and his mother built such a strong relationship with the child without Miss Nelson knowing anything about it.
You have him listed as baby daddy Devante. So this begs the question, if you never, ever thought he was the father, why do you have him listed as baby daddy Devante in your phone?
That's just a term that we use, and he knows we use that term.
How do you call a man your baby daddy and then turn around and claim he isn't the father? Yeah, like that's normal. Well, the DNA results are in and ready. Let's get to the bottom of this, shall we?
Mr. Fuller, you are not her father.
I knew it. I knew I slept with. I knew it.
Take this baby from us.
Get ready, folks. The tea we have today is hotter than a summer barbecue. We've got a sizzling case for you. Phi versus Henny. A story filled with suspicion, paternity doubts, and a man who believes head shapes determine fatherhood.
Mr. Phi, you have petitioned the court for paternity tests on the defendant's 2 children, 2-year-old Nathan and 8-month-old Samuel. Additionally, you have requested a lie detector test for the defendant because you claim her infidelity has not only created paternity doubt, but has destroyed your relationship. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Fye is questioning whether he is the father of not just one, but two children, 2-year-old Nathan and 8-month-old Samuel. And that's not all. He is also demanding a lie detector test for Miss Henny.
Every day. And, you know, it kind of hurts me because as they got older, kids don't look like me.
They do look exactly like me.
They don't look like me. I mean, Nathan, he's got different futures than what I have. And, you know, little Sammy, he kind of looks more like Nathan too. They both look alike, and, you know, little Sammy's got my full name.
Miss Henny, however, stands firm, insisting 100% that Mr. Fye is the father of both kids. But Mr. Fye isn't convinced. Even though the children call him Daddy, he argues that they look nothing like.
Has caused you to doubt.
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain.
I was gone away for 45 days, and when I came back, people, even friends, told me that she was messing around with a guy from the neighborhood.
We were not messing around.
That's not what my friends told me, but when I confronted the gentleman about it, he came, you know, I was on the phone with him, and he told me they did mess around twice. Well, when I confronted her about it...
According to Mr. Fye, since he has an oval-shaped head with ears that sit close to his skull, there's no way he could have fathered a child with a block-shaped head and ears that stick out.
Explain to me why you doubt.
I have an oval-shaped head, okay, Your Honor? My ears are close to my head. He has a block head. A block head. I mean, his ears have a dip in them. I don't have none of them.
I'm sorry, but I have dips in my ears. He has my ears.
I don't have big ears like he does. His sticks out more, and he has that block head. I don't have a block head. Mine's more of an oval shape.
But wait, there's more. Mr. Fye claims his friends told him that Miss Henny was getting too cozy with a neighborhood guy while he was away for 45 days. And not just any guy, a former friend of Mr. Fye.
And you've seen this other man enough to be able to compare?
Yes. He used to be a close friend of mine.
Oh. Miss Henny, how did you end up sleeping with your boyfriend's close friend?
Our kids hung out. When he went away for that 45 days, we were hanging out with our kids, and it didn't start out that way, but it's just one thing led to another, and...
Now, things get even juicier. Mr. Fye signed the birth certificates, but now he's having second thoughts. If the DNA results prove he isn't the father, he wants his name removed.
It was his idea to name the baby after him to keep that name going on.
So, Mr. Fye, you signed the birth certificate, so what's the big deal about your name? You're still the legal father.
Today, if I find out the kids ain't mine, I want, you know, Samuel John Fye IV, I want his name taken from him, and Nathan, I want my last name pulled from the birth certificate.
The courtroom is tense as everyone waits for the results. First up, Nathan's birth certificate. Mr. Coe. Fye is legally recognized as the father, but will the DNA results confirm it? And there's Samuel, who carries the full name Samuel John Fye IV.
And you are not this children's biological father, this relationship is over.
Correct.
Or if the lie detector proves that Ms. Henny is not telling the truth,
then it's done between us.
Then the relationship is over as well.
Correct.
Ms. Henny, were you in a relationship with this other guy for a while?
No, we were not in a relationship.
And you still continue only slept with him that one time?
Yes.
Miss Henny remains firm, claiming she has nothing to hide and that the children are unquestionably Mr. Fye's. She even provides the birth certificates as proof that he willingly signed up for fatherhood.
Mr. Fye, you are the father.
Who doesn't look like who?
I apologize for that. Now let's see Sammy.
The results are in, and the courtroom falls silent. Will Mr. Fye's head-shaped theory hold up? Is Miss Henny telling the whole truth? The judge is about to reveal the DNA results for 2-year-old Nathan and 8-month-old Samuel.
Mr. Fye, you are the father.
Change what name?
I apologize for that.
Yeah.
Miss Davis just walked into the courtroom with a 1-month-old baby and a story that has more twists than a pair of tangled headphones. She claims that Mr. Ham, a man she knew for only 2 months, is the father of her child.
Davis, you claim you got pregnant with Mr. Ham's child after knowing him for only 2 months. You've petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove that Mr. Ham is the father of your 1-month-old baby, Jarrell Ham Jr. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're suing him for $1,500 for the cost of the baby shower gifts that you say Mr. Ham took from you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Ham isn't buying it. He's convinced he isn't the father, and his reasoning? Miss Davis was reportedly involved with not one, but 2 other men at the time. As the judge tries to untangle this mess, Miss Ham starts telling his side of the story, which sounds like something straight out of a romantic comedy. Apparently, they met because they had the same car, just in different colors. If that's not fate, what is?
That's why we agreed to go to the lake. When I pull up at the lake, she got a whole crowd of people surrounding her car. So as I get closer, Miss Davis then comes and approaches my car. We start having a conversation. As me and Miss Davis having a conversation, one of her female friends comes up to the car and say, well, your boyfriend is getting upset due to the fact that you over here disrespecting him by talking to another man.
Did you remember someone coming up to you and saying
No,
your boyfriend
nobody
was
came
mad?
up to me. Nobody came up to me because it wasn't my boyfriend.
Miss Davis admits she had a boyfriend and was separated from her husband, but Mr. Ham claims she actually had 2 boyfriends while also being married. And despite all that, she still slept with him on the second day they met.
So it's your testimony, Mr. Ham, she had more than one boyfriend.
Yes, Your Honor, and she's married too, and she's still technically married now. She's not divorced, she's still technically married, and she had 2 boyfriends too. So this is why I'm in a point where, okay, this can't really be my child due to the fact that she had all these boyfriends, and then at the end of the day, I come found she's married too.
Things get even spicier when we learn about the baby shower drama. Mr. Ham's family threw a shower for the baby, but when the party was over, all the gifts ended up at his house. Miss Davis walked away with nothing but a few gift cards and a check.
She got in the car with me, and we left that same day, and we had unprotected sex that same day. We had sex that same day, and after we had sex that day, we was like peas. She was on my heels. We was together.
No, actually, how can you be with somebody after 2 days of knowing them? How can you be with somebody?
You
didn't even
slept
know
with
me.
the first day.
You didn't even. So what? You had.
So what? But you just
did
saying it was the
too.
second day.
Okay, look, you had unprotected.
And I'm not lying. Yeah, we did.
At
The
end of
first day
day,
I met you.
How
I'm
can
not
you be
lying
in a
about
relationship
that.
with somebody you just?
The back and forth in the courtroom is like a tennis match on steroids. They argue about who said what, who slept with whom, and who's actually been there for the baby.
Gifts to the baby, but because you say you weren't certain whether or not the child was yours, you decided not to give the gifts to her, to the baby.
Yes, Your Honor. And at the same time, anywhere I go, I was gonna have to take the gifts to her because she had a car full of her friends and anything, so she didn't have nowhere to put the gifts.
But you admit you took them.
I took them to my house. I took the gifts to my house.
Did you ever get those gifts, Miss Davis?
No, I didn't get nothing.
And then comes one of the wildest moments yet. Mr. Ham claims he doubts he's the father because the baby's complexion is changing. He even goes as far as saying the baby doesn't look like either of them.
Often asked in this courtroom, do you feel like the baby resembles you?
No, I do not.
You don't?
No, I do not. It's quite a few guys who I might think about because all the guys she messed with is light skinned except this one guy, he's dark skinned. And like I said, the baby is light skinned. So the dark skinned guy, he out the picture, but at the same time, she was still messing with him during the same time she was messing with me. So it's kind of hard to put him out the picture too. And then see, the baby's starting to get darker too.
But enough of the arguing, it's time for the DNA results. The courtroom falls silent. Everyone is on the edge of their seats, and Mr. Ham is sweating bullets. Will he be declared the father?
Mr. Ham, you are Jarrell's father.
Like I said, I don't have no problem with stepping up, but at the same time, I can't be in this child's life if she's trying to control me.
If you enjoyed the story and want to hear more, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like this video. Your support means a lot.
18-year-old Ms. Currington claims that she had a love affair with Mr. Kim Larson, a man 20 years older than her, and that relationship resulted in 5-month-old Kawira. Mr. Kim Larson, on the hand, insists that Ms. Currington's child isn't his, and she only says the child is his for financial gain. Who is the father of Kaoria? Let's find out.
How upset does it make you feel that Mr. Kim Larson denies your daughter?
It makes me feel pissed off because we planned this baby.
What was said?
He wanted to have a baby by me, and that was that.
And now that the baby's here...
Now that is an accusation. Ms. Currington says the entire pregnancy was planned, and the reason Mr. Kim Larson says he isn't the father is because she is no longer sleeping with him. What is 42-year-old Kim Larson even doing with an 18-year-old in the first place? She's old enough to be his daughter. According to Mr. Kim Larson, that means she's also old enough to be other things as well.
She's unpredictable. She played a game with my emotion. She plotted.
Oh, you say she plotted?
Yes.
So you think she did all of this on purpose?
Yes.
Did you plan to have a baby together? Were you trying to have a baby?
No, Honor.
What does that even mean? Condoms aren't supernatural beings. You don't need faith to make a condom do what it's supposed to do. You just need to wear it. And Judge Lake is correct. You might say you are not planning to have a baby, but without condoms, that is exactly what you will get. But hold on, it gets crazier.
Oh.
Yes. So,
And so you had your hand up, Miss Larson.
Yes.
You are his daughter.
Yes, ma'am.
And so what is your understanding of this?
I know these types of women. They prey on men like this, like kind-hearted.
Oh, come on. Won't someone think of the 42-year-old who was taken advantage of by the 18-year-old? That is so sad and unfortunate. Innocent Mr. Kim Larson just wanted to sleep with someone younger than his daughter without condoms, and now he has to deal with being a father. He is clearly the victim here. How did this relationship even begin?
He came in, he approached me and asked me if I seen his girlfriend at that time. And I said no, but I would help you look for her. So we walked in the hallways and knocked on every door.
Wait. She already had a son, and she says that Mr. Kim Larson, our dear victim, was just reeling out the benefits of sleeping with him to her while she was helping him search for his other girlfriend. That is nasty, Mr. Kim Larson. But it gets worse, if you can believe it.
Oh, you're saying you actually started to really fall in love, like thought you were having a real relationship.
Yeah, we got connected. I met her at the hotel. She approached me, and we just clicked. We developed a relationship, and
You approached me about your girlfriend at that time.
Wow. I am sure that girlfriend is so thankful right now that she wasn't found by this clown duo. But let's get to the issue at hand here. Does Mr. Kim Larson have any real reason to doubt that this 5-month-old is his baby?
She moved at my place.
Within 2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks, because we bonded.
I moved at his place 2 days later and drove his car after I met him at the hotel. He had me drive his car to his house.
Oh, so the cute car you saw him pull up in, he was letting you drive it?
Yes.
So the men that were in his house were just her cousins? Maybe this is all a huge mix-up and all the accusations of cheating are just because of Ms. Currington's large family. Anyway, why did they even break up?
Because she had multiple guys. I don't trust her. She's naive, and I can't trust her. Excuse me, girl. Okay. She's naive. I don't trust her.
But did she just leave Mr. Kim Larson, or did you just kick her out because she had more?
Wait, maybe Mr. Kim Larson is really the victim here because there is no way this 18-year-old with 2 kids is now with another much older man. Does she have a type or what? Anyway, let's talk about this one night stand.
With one other man.
With one other man. And this man happened right after you moved out of the house?
And
after you got
Indiana.
evicted?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what?
When I went to Indiana.
When you went to Indiana?
Yes.
How soon after that did you find out you were pregnant?
I found out I was pregnant when I moved.
So he knew about the one night stand and still wanted her to come back and start a family with him? This is crazy. At this point, you kind of feel that Mr. Kim Larson just wanted to see Ms. Currington in court and doesn't doubt the paternity of her kid. The only way we can know for sure is through the test result. And here is what it says.
When it comes to 5-month-old Keora Currington, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Kim Larson, you are the father.
Lindsay Whitaker got pregnant when she was 17, and now her baby is 2 years old. But there is one problem. The baby's supposed father, 20-year-old Mr. Schrull, has claimed that he isn't the father. She says that is a complete lie. Here is how she puts it.
Why do you blame Mr. Schroll's mother for his denial?
Because he's a mama's boy. She has never done anything but come in between our relationship. Even when we were having fights in our relationship, she was always in the middle of it. It was never just me and him. It was me, him, and his.
Are you a mama's boy, Mr. Schroll?
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
I know that's right.
Wait, what? Their parents let 2 young kids probably driven mad by hormones spend the night together at their homes? You'd think that is as crazy as it would get, but Ms. Whitaker has one more bombshell to drop.
Him and his mother moved into my house with me and my mother. And
What? They moved into the house with you and your mother?
Yes, ma'am.
And you all were having sex and both mothers knew it?
Yes.
I've never heard of such.
Several times a day.
What in the world? This is horrible.
Yeah, I wonder why. Why would 2 teenagers who have such crazy freedoms with clearly insane parents end up dropping out? In fact, it's a miracle they got into high school at all. But hold on, it gets worse.
Mr. Schroll's mother was getting in the way of your relationship. Well, sounded like she was putting it together.
She was always in the middle of our relationship. She even made the comment one time that I can't wait till you're 18 because I'm going to beat your. And then when she found out I was pregnant, she said, I guess I can't do it anymore now.
You have to remember that right now, both Mr. Schrull and Ms. Whitaker are 20 years old. They cannot drink alcohol, but somehow she's been in a committed relationship with someone since she was 15 and already has a child with a man who hasn't claimed her baby? Let's see if this case can get any worse.
What had happened? Her mom had passed away.
Okay.
And she got put in a foster home, and once she turned
Okay.
18, she went with family.
I'm sorry to hear that, Ms. Wood.
Thank
Very
you.
sorry.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And so at that time, you all were separated. You were no longer living together.
If you've cheated on your partner, you cannot blame them if they have paternity doubts. It literally comes with the accusations. However, Ms. Whitaker insists that this cheating scandal isn't as straightforward as we are led to believe.
I got taken into DHR custody. I was only 17. I was 8 months from being 18. Anyway, they put me with my aunt, and me and Christian were fighting all the time. I was hormonal. I was pregnant. His mother refused to let him come to my doctor's appointments.
Okay, hold that story right there. I want to get to it.
It sounds like Mr. Schrull took the pregnancy very well at first. So what happened? Why did someone like Mr. Schrull, who apparently wanted to marry his girlfriend who was carrying his child, turn around to deny that pregnancy? Well, here is where this story totally goes off the rails.
I told his mother, I could hear her screaming in the background, "Oh God, no, why? Kill me now, why?"
Really?
No.
She was screaming to the top of her lungs, and she took that moment from me.
Staying together and sleeping together was never okay with me. This started at her house.
Mrs. Schrull clearly doesn't like Ms. Whitaker at all, and you can almost start to understand the genesis of this paternity doubt. Mr. Schrull has obviously been fed crazy stories by his mother, and that is why he denies his child. But hold on, it gets better.
Pregnant, did you think the baby was your grandchild?
I did because my son believed at
No, you
time
didn't. You told
he
me from the
was.
beginning that's not his child.
Not until she admitted to me, yes. She told me there were 7 possibilities.
7 guys? This lady is just 20 years old and her child might have 7 other potential fathers? Well, Ms. Whitaker completely denies that. She admits that she cheated on her husband, but says the timing is wrong, so Mr. Schrull has to be the father.
I conceived at the beginning of August. I did not sleep with him until the end of August. I slept with Christian every single night.
I don't remember all that.
Days are outlined completely every day.
Every day.
From the second.
That is a lot of sleeping together. The crazy thing is the only evidence that Mr. Schrull seems to offer is that Ms. Whitaker admitted to cheating on him around the conception date. But is that evidence a strong indicator of the truth? Only the DNA test result can tell us that. And here is what they say.
It has been determined by this. You are her father.
I am.
Ms. Hicks says that she is being punished for the sins of her past, and now she wants to save her relationship. She wants to prove that her 3-month-old's father is Mr. Smith. However, Mr. Smith insists that Ms. Hicks is an unrepentant cheat, and he isn't the father of her child. He also says that Ms. Hicks' sister agrees with him, and he has medical evidence to prove his case.
Ms. Hicks, how does it make you feel hearing Mr. Smith deny paternity?
I know I've only slept with him, and I know who my children belong to. Like, hearing this from him and him getting it from my own full-blooded sister, it just bores me.
Tell the truth.
It bores me.
For your own sister to say this in open court, Ms. Hicks must have been doing a lot of things to warrant suspicion. Ms. Hicks obviously disagrees, but we all know that lies are commonplace in paternity court, right? Here is what Mr. Smith thinks of all this.
I used to work out a lot, and one time I strained myself too hard, and I had to go to the hospital, and the doctor told me that I couldn't have kids, that my testicles had dropped by that time.
You submitted some evidence to the court concerning that. I'd like to look at that.
Okay, now things are getting even more complicated. If Mr. Smith is medically incapable of having kids, and had this confirmed to him by his own doctor, he has an extremely valid reason to doubt the paternity of this child. The fact that Ms. Hicks' own sister says she is a habitual cheat just makes things worse for her. But here is what she thinks.
When you all were in a sexual relationship,
No, Your Honor. He never informed me about any of this. When he did tell me, this came up like, she's living proof that you can have kids. I didn't make this baby myself.
This has to be a nightmare for Ms. Hicks. Imagine your husband and your aunt accusing you of being a dirty cheat. You need to have a lot of conviction in your beliefs to continue to oppose them regardless. Here is why Mr. Smith thinks Ms. Hicks is lying.
She was cheating a lot of time with multiple men.
You know that for certain?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you know that? Explain.
Her sister used to tell me that she used to sleep with this guy and that guy, and I didn't believe her at first, but until it started coming to me about the dude she talked to all the time, friendly with.
Do you know how horrible you have to be for even your sister to say, you know what? That's enough. I am snitching on you. The funny thing is that Ms. Hicks makes it sound like it's not a big deal, but it has to be troubling her on some level, right?
Technically still are, but these lies that she's pushing in his ears and everybody else is pushing in his ears.
I don't push no lies in his ears.
It's causing problems, Your Honor. It really is.
She believes her own lies, okay? They come true in her head. I don't know.
Wait, what does that mean? They are technically still in a relationship? So after all of this, they are going to go back to the same house and lay up together? Okay, this is one dysfunctional case, but we are going to get to the bottom of it one way or another.
I went through her phone and found text messages, and it said when I can get that kitty cat.
Oh, you saw a text message?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor. And you submitted your recollection of that exchange to the court.
His bed? That is foul. She had another man over in his bed for 2 days? If this is true, there is absolutely no way that Mr. Smith was ever going to believe her DNA test results. But hold on, folks. We ain't seen nothing yet.
I'm not finna sit up there and give my kitty to this man and that man and that man. And I mess with one man for 2 reasons. So I know who my child belongs to if I end up pregnant.
Well, I came out the car. I seen somebody jump out the window, and I'm knocking on the door for like...
Okay, this is no laughing matter. Mr. Smith has the best witness in the world. The defendant's sister. They literally saw a man jump out the window, and even after that, Ms. Hicks didn't open up immediately. What is happening here? Can we get an explanation?
Apartment building, and we stay on the 2nd floor. So,
he jumped out the window.
Like himself, when he jumped out the window, like I expected that guy that he's suddenly seen jump out the window to be hurt. Just
It looks like Ms. Hicks here is admitting to nothing. As long as it wasn't caught on camera, it literally never happened. If she's lying, she is an extremely good liar. But hold on, folks, because this case is about to get even worse.
Yes.
Were you happy about it?
Faking it to her, but I know in my mind that
faking it.
I can't have...
Oh, you were faking it to her?
Yes, Your Honor.
It is no way anybody can fake anything. I mean, at the hospital, you're there. He was like...
Because I felt sorry for her, because she could have lost her life.
Ms. Hicks is not allowing anyone to get anything in. She is countering every accusation with 10 of her own, but one thing she cannot counter is the DNA test result. And what does that result say? Let's see.
When it comes to 3-month-old Honesty Smith, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Smith, you are the father.
Mr. Joyner says he is a responsible veteran who would never be a deadbeat dad. That is why he says that Ms. Jones's 8-month-old baby isn't his. In fact, he's claiming that he didn't even know her name until recently. If that sounds incredible, wait till you hear what Ms. Jones has to say.
I don't feel like it's my baby.
You don't feel? Or what are your doubts?
It's not my baby. It is a veteran. I'm a military veteran, and I do take care of my responsibilities.
Do you have other children?
No, Your Honor, I do not.
So you just from the start didn't believe it?
What are you going to do? The guy just doesn't believe that he is the father of this kid. This is not a matter of biology. It's a matter of faith. And if you don't have faith, what are you going to do? Nothing. How did this two even meet?
Your Honor, I would not say we was dating in any kind of serious relationship. I met her at our place where we worked at. It was a restaurant, and I mean, just to be honest.
You say you're in a relationship, Ms. Jones. Yes. He says it wasn't a relationship at all. He didn't even know your name.
On one side, we have Ms. Jones, who insists that Mr. Joyner knew her name before he slept with her. And on the other side, we have Mr. Joyner, who says that is a lie from the pit of hell. But hold on, guys, because it gets even worse. Come on, Mr. Joyner. You say you're a veteran and a man of honor? Are you actually going to deny being in a relationship with a woman who came over to your house with her mother? Really? What does he have to say about this?
So, Mom, Ms. Jones, did your daughter ever introduce you to Ms. Joyner? Mr. Joyner, did you know anything about him?
And go over there and visit him and stay sometimes this night and everything with him. I even went over there to his residence, spent the weekend and everything with them, with my other grandson.
Well, Mr. Joyner clearly thought that those were the perks of some sort of situationship. At least that is what he wants us to think. Anyway, his argument is that Ms. Jones was sleeping with other men. But was she? Let's find out.
Why he was talking about him and her moving in together. Her moving into the place.
Yes. When did that happen?
When they was with each other.
Your Honor, when I met her, she was supposed to be moving to Texas in 1 week. She said, I'm moving to Texas with my boyfriend or baby daddy, whatever it was, in 1 week.
Mr. Joyner is starting to sound like a real shifty character. First, he claims he didn't even know her name, and now he is claiming he didn't know they were in a committed relationship. It just sounds like this dude is lying. What happened when he learned that she was pregnant?
I'm at the hospital. He was like, don't tell me you're pregnant. I said, well, I'm pregnant. And like, he just sat on the phone silent. And then he said, I'm gonna call you back. And he never called me back. And I'm just waiting for the phone to ring and no call back from Mr. Joyner.
You never called back?
Ah, that settles it, guys. She just said 2. That obviously means that she was sleeping with other guys, right? Right? Of course not. But we do need to know if there are other potential fathers in the mix. What does Ms. Jones think?
I mean, you're the father then, if say there was this other person and everybody knew it.
You know, I had my own place, you know, what I had, and the other guy, she was, you know, guy or two that she was sleeping with at the time, and she thought that.
Did Mr. Joyner just say what I think he said? Anyway, this case is getting clearer. Mr. Joyner thinks that Ms. Jones wants him to be in her life because he is just a better specimen. But there is another stranger reason why Mr. Joyner thinks he can't be the father.
A month after when she said she had gotten pregnant, Your Honor, I had just moved. 25 years old I am, and I've been having sex roughly 10, 11, 12 years. I've never gotten any female pregnant.
Well,
and then I moved down there the first week I meet her.
It only happens one time.
The first week I meet her.
Who is to say you are irresponsible? The fact that you've been lucky while being irresponsible doesn't mean you have any great skill at dodging pregnancies. Anyway, this case has gone on for too long. It's time to get the result.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Joyner, you are father.
Yes. Ms. Cousins says she doesn't want to be here today, but Mr. Bell has given her no choice. She says that he is denying the paternity of her 7-month-old baby, and she wants him to step up. Mr. Bell and his girlfriend are in court, and they deny all claims. Here is how it all began.
He told my daughter that he was single, that he was not in a relationship. I know he was in a relationship with her because I seen his picture on her phone. When she started being with him, I seen how her attitude changed. I knew then that.
So not only is he denying paternity, he was actually seeing at least 2 people at the same time. That's horrible, but as they say, this is paternity court, not couples court. What does Mr. Bell have to say? What is his doubt exactly?
A whole weekend? No. I had to get back to her.
You went out once? A whole weekend, yes. And then not only that, y'all had lunch together.
Can she let her daughter talk?
She wasn't there? I go in her room, I found receipts with 2 combos on it. I asked her what the combos for him and her.
Okay, Mr. Bell does not seem to be a big fan of the idea of shame. He took her away for the weekend and she paid for his food? That's crazy. But it gets worse as Ms. Cousin herself will finally say her piece.
Job that we was working at, when I first met him, he told me he wasn't with no one. I never slept with no one else at work. Every time I go out to get lunch, he right behind me. What you eating for lunch? Can you buy me something? So I cannot pay his phone bill every time I get paid.
That's crazy, Mr. Bell. You were really mooching off on a girl you were sleeping with? He must have felt like the luckiest man in the world to actually have a girl who paid his bills. Well, it looks like it's his turn to pay some bills.
I only seen her outside of work maybe twice. We was never together because I had to go home to her. I was staying with her and my kid.
Were you flirting with her at work? Were you asking her what she's eating for lunch and buy you some too?
No.
Well, you said you already ate the food because she was buying it.
Yeah, she offered.
Somehow, I don't believe him. There is just too much evidence here. Mr. Bell claims he used protection and slept with Ms. Cousins only once. She says that is a huge lie, and his lies torture her so much that she starts crying.
Because he felt your weakness. That's what he felt. He felt that he could take control of you, but as of today, God is...
You denying the baby is yours.
Yes.
Because you have the girlfriend of 6 years or because you truly believe this isn't your biological child?
He's had a girlfriend for 6 years and he cheated on her with a coworker? The fact that the girlfriend in question still stuck by him through all that is just crazy. Anyway, here is Ms. Cousins' version of events.
Came home, I called him. I said, I'm pregnant. He said, oh, well, call me back. Let me know what you gonna do. And that was it, and he hung up the phone.
Did you tell your manager at work?
I told my manager because that's the day that my back was hurting. She said,
and she told me the baby wasn't mine. I don't want the baby by you anyway.
Wait, he just said that you told him the baby wasn't his.
She said both? That is clearly a lie. At this point, we are kind of hoping that he isn't really the father of Ms. Cousins' kid because this dude sounds like huge red flag. But let's hear more.
Well, we just want it to be over with, Your Honor, because we really want him to help take care of this baby. You know, Destiny just got a new job now, and I want her to stay positive. I want her to go to college. That's one thing that I want her to do.
Holding around.
In the process of the not at all.
She with a whole nother dude doing her pregnant.
No, I was not.
Dude on the 25 gonna be with somebody else.
Wait, he had his baby mama, that is his girlfriend of 6 years, spying on Ms. Cousins? You know what? It's about time we heard from this baby mama. What does she have to say?
Find out, Miss King, your boyfriend had in fact slept Cousin.
She messaged me on Facebook and she was like, do you have Cortez's mom number? Because I have his baby over here. At that point, I showed his mom. His mom was like, well, who is that? I found out she was pregnant through the same person.
This is all so messy. She says they slept together thrice without protection, and at least one of those times was in a car. Mr. Bell disagrees, but the DNA test result might paint us a totally different picture. Here is what the test says.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Bell, you are the father.
Thank you, Lord Jesus. Yes. Oh, yeah.
Ms. Eubanks says once the DNA test results prove that Mr. Wilkes is the father of her daughter, she wants to get married to him. You might wonder why she would want to get into a marriage with a man who thinks he isn't the father of her child. But Ms. Eubanks has a pretty interesting reason. Let's begin.
Relationship because we've been together too long. I'm 1,002% sure that I just want these results for him so we can move forward and get married like we planned.
And how has this doubt affected you?
It affected me tremendously, like emotionally.
I heard you well up with...
Maybe that's why she still wants to save this marriage. The fact that he's continued his responsibilities despite not being totally sure the baby is for him is admirable. Very few fathers on paternity court do that. Here is what Mr. Wilkes thinks.
I'm tired of guessing, wondering, and things of that sort. And like she said, it's just the connection. It wasn't there when he first came. You know what I mean? I just didn't feel any type of connection. Like even growing gray hairs. I'm only 30 years old.
You stay up late staring at the baby, stressing?
Yeah.
Okay, this is a strange case. Mr. Wilkes says he has no evidence of his wife cheating on him. He believes she loves him, but somehow he cannot believe that this child belongs to him. He thinks the child doesn't have the right vibe. And you know what? That happens sometimes. Sometimes some kids just have a bad vibe. What are you gonna do? Let's go back to Ms. Eubanks.
At the strip club, we was there for a family member's birthday party.
Oh, okay.
It was just love at first sight. Like we was together.
In the strip club? You know what they say. What happens in the strip club stays in the strip club. Except when what happens leads to a baby. And now you're in paternity court wondering where your life went wrong. Anyway, where did it all go wrong for this beautiful couple?
Our first child was born. We had took a little, I guess what he calls it, a so-called breakup.
Mr. Wilkes, do you believe during that time dating other people?
She was definitely talking to other people at the time. Or he turns around and walks the other way. So when I goes in the house.
Let's get this straight. This two break up and go their own way. Mr. Wilkes sees her ex at her relative's house and decided to follow him? Why would he even do that if they were broken up? Exactly. It is difficult for a relationship to come back from a paternity doubt. Even if the DNA result is positive, the woman will always feel some sort of anger or sadness at the distrust. Anyway, Mr. Wilkes has another evidence to show the court.
I am innocent.
Your Honor, it doesn't matter what she's portraying or what she's trying to say.
It's not portraying, it's the truth. I only deal with you.
I'm here for the results.
I don't have eyes for you.
I want results. You know, that's it. She said
And this really bothers you, Miss Eubanks. I see you're about to cry.
You know what? He's correct. This isn't couples court. We are here for a paternity test, and that's all we need to be about. And if we are being about that, dancing with another man while broken up shouldn't be enough reason for Mr. Wilkes to doubt paternity.
And I also see the hand of another guy coming over to slap.
That was the girl in front of me.
Somebody behind.
They had like a little four-way thing. She had a girl dancing on her.
Gillahan, you were there that night at this club?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you remember seeing?
I remember seeing her, the guy, another girl, and another fella.
This is getting so chaotic. Ms. Eubanks thinks everyone is lying, and Mr. Wilkes thinks his goofy friend here is saying nothing but the gospel truth. Judge Lake probably can't wait to get to the results now, but before that, there is something someone needs to confess to.
I see Jemiah, I know y'all separated, whatever y'all got going on. He was like, somebody else had sent them the video.
Oh, you had an informant. Wait, Miss Eubanks, you find out you're pregnant.
And that was way after this.
So the video doesn't have any bearing on the paternity question whatsoever? Why did Mr. Wilkes bring it up then? Anyway, it's time to reveal the truth. Does this baby belong to Mr. Wilkes, or is his vibes-based DNA test accurate? Let's see.
You are the father.
You had papers?
Well, why do we have to have papers to be done? You said it was over.
Because in a marriage...
It's called a divorce.
Yeah,
So, we were done a few days ago.
And That's why paternity court exists. Some women just go about sleeping with more than one man and then have trouble trying to figure out who the father of the child is. These are some of those situations where the results revealed 2 possible fathers. Now, this marriage is being held together by a thread. Mr. Threlkeld, who has been in the army for quite some time, comes back home only to find out that his wife cheated on him. He says that if he is not the father of the child, he is going to walk away from the marriage. Well, here is how their story begins in the courtroom.
Mr. Threlkeld, you have entered this courtroom with a marriage on the brink of divorce. You state that while you were out of the country serving in the military, your wife paraded around town with other men, and she has admitted to cheating multiple times. You claim you are not sure if you are the father of her 3rd child, 18-month-old Liliana.
A few indiscretions? Haha, that is hilarious. Mr. Threlkeld tells the courtroom that his wife has admitted to cheating on him more than once, and at this point, he just wants to know if he is the father of the child.
Well, it turns out his wife and my wife were friends, and she had found out that she was actually stripping as we spoke. And at the time, I found out about it. I thought, it was all just a hoax. So I went, calmly to the internet lounge, got on Facebook and asked her, hey, is it true you're doing what I told you I didn't want you doing at all?
She was posting these pictures while still being married to Mr. Threlkeld? Ha 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 ha. I would have ended the marriage a long time ago. I mean, what excuse or logical explanation could she have for deciding to be a stripper?
Tell me about this guy that's going on. And she says, oh, it's nothing, it's just a friend, etc. The same BS that every girl says.
First of all, we were done. He hacked my Facebook. He invaded my privacy, and he looked into my stuff, into my messages. So that's how we found out.
Oh my God, how can she do such a thing? I mean, if she was tired of the marriage, she should have just ended the whole thing. Why stay in a marriage and then go on to disrespect her husband in such a way? That's just awful.
First of all, we were done. We were not together. We had a phone conversation, and he had said, we're gonna get a divorce, and I'll send you the divorce papers. And then we hung up. And let me finish.
What had happened was, when I was at Fenty, we got in a phone argument, like she said, on Skype. And I told her, look, if you're gonna strip after me and you, I've already gone through the discussion that you're not to do it until I get back, and we'll talk about it then.
That doesn't even make sense. She needs more money for what exactly? Mr. Threlkeld literally makes enough to sort out whatever she needs, so what exactly does she need the extra money for? That has got to be the dumbest excuse I have ever heard.
This is what I'm trying to understand. Ms. Threlkeld, you say you guys were done. Yes, so in other words, these things that he's finding on your Facebook and these indiscretions you're telling him about, this really shouldn't be an issue because in your mind, you thought your marriage was over.
Stuff as it may be.
Yes.
Aha, now that explains it. Looks like she was already tired of the marriage, and this was just an excuse for her to finally get what she wanted. Sad. I honestly feel really sad for Mr. Threlkeld.
When I went out, the day I was supposed to come back home from overseas, we were told before we even got on the plane at Fort McCoy, Wisconsin, that there's going to be the color guard, the motorcycles that drive, in front. The news was going to be there. I get there, and not my father, my mother, my wife, like I said, we'll quote that, weren't even there. We get there, they call everybody's names up, everybody's clapping and cheering. They come to my name, and it's just dead quiet.
At this point, can it get any worse for Mr. Threlkeld? He tells the judge that while everyone was returning home from the army, his wife and kids were nowhere to be found. Mrs. Threlkeld couldn't even pick up her husband from the airport.
When she picked me up,
yes, I did.
She came dressed in her clear hooker shoes and this.
Hooker shoes?
That's one whole outfit?
I think that's a dress is what they call it. I don't know.
Yeah.
She's in clear shoes with money still in them.
Okay, that was for decoration.
Honestly, I won't put anything past Mrs. Threlkeld. If she can pick up her husband wearing her stripper outfit, there is honestly nothing she can't do. It must honestly suck to be in Mr. Threlkeld's shoes right now.
And as I was looking through it, there was a number that she'd called like 13 times. So I called him right back. And he answers the phone, hey, I said, who is this? Are you the one that's been with my wife? He said, yes, I've been. And now her defense, she starts laughing, saying, I knew he was just going to say that. He's just saying that to make you mad.
Unbelievable. That is just unbelievable. She couldn't even wait to be properly divorced before getting a boyfriend. What even hurts the most is the fact that she does not feel any remorse for what she has done. I honestly doubt Mr. Threlkeld is the father of the child.
All right. we keep skipping the event or events that led to the conception
Actually, ma'am,
of your last child in which you feel you may or may not be the father.
well, I was
Why don't
actually,
you just be quiet?
when I was overseas and I found out about her stripping and her cheating, there was a few options that came across my head of how I should deal with it. So when I got back home within those first week or two, we had sex like 4 or 5 times a day.
How was he expecting that to work? I mean, she already started to strip while he was in the army and somehow managed to keep it a secret from him. Did he really expect that getting her pregnant would make her stay in the marriage? Come on, Mr. Threlkeld.
She starts, getting nervous. I could start telling from body language and, tone of her voice, she was getting nervous.
We
She
don't need a
tells
lie
me straight
detector
out.
test. We just need communication. There's no
She
reason.
tells me straight out.
What happened?
She tells me straight out about the people that she actually cheated on me with. Right after our first daughter, she cheated on me with a guy when she was going to cosmetology school. On her way to cosmetology school, she goes to his house.
If you ask me, Mrs. Threlkeld has to be the most disgusting and shameful woman to ever walk into the paternity courtroom. I think we've heard enough of her yapping and immoralities. Let's see what the DNA results have in stock for us.
Mr. Threlkeld, you are Liliana's father. It seems like you became instantly emotional. Is that relief or is that
It's Your Honor, it's
joy
really,
or
I
both?
mean, it's all together. I'm happy.
Mrs. White claims that the only way to save her marriage and family is to prove to her husband he is the father of their 3-year-old daughter. She admits to cheating on him, but hopes that he won't leave her when he finds out the child belongs to him. Well, here is how the case starts.
Ms. White, you've opened your case because your last and only way to save your marriage and family is to prove to your husband that he fathered your 3-year-old daughter, Savannah.
Yes, Your
Her marriage is definitely hanging on by a thread. Her husband doesn't even look like he wants to be in that courtroom. All he wants is to know if he's the dad. It does seem like he loves the child, though. Or could that be a lie?
Explain to the court how it has been for 3 years to have doubt.
It's been rough and emotional because when it first all come about to where I had the suspicions, it was she was having an ex-boyfriend come over while I was at work. I had neighbors tell me he was coming over, and then I started.
She was having an argument with her husband and she called another guy to come to the house. Who does that? I mean, what was she thinking? That the guy she was cheating with would come to her rescue? That's just hilarious.
You just don't have any trust in this relationship.
No, because from a week after we got married until February of this year, I've been catching her cheating constantly.
A week after you got married?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. White, have you been cheating?
Yes, but I have abandonment issues.
Talk about a woman who lives her life with 100% delusion. She wants her husband to hold her hand in public, but she thinks he is going to do that when she cheats? What's even funny is the fact that she blames it on abandonment issues. Like that's going to cut it.
She admittedly told me when Savannah was 6 months old that there was a 50-50 chance that Savannah wasn't mine.
And how did you get to a place where you decide you're going to tell him, Miss White?
We got into an argument and we ended up splitting up, and I was over at my mom's house, and he said the only way I could come back into the house is if I was to admit everything and just be honest.
And he let you back home after that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Seems to me like he really loves her. If I were to be in his shoes and I caught her cheating, even if it was just once, boy, I am out of that relationship. She should know better than to disrespect her husband.
And at the same time, it was kind of a relief because I knew for a fact that it was actually happening. It wasn't just, oh, it's an assumption, I don't know for a fact. But I think more than anything that I was more hurt because I done got attached to her, 6 months old.
Isn't he just a perfect man? He literally does everything to make sure his kids and Mrs. White are always taken care of. It just sucks that she had to cheat on him and break his heart. He deserves better than this.
I have text messages proof right here of the most recent is Valentine's Day. She went to another man's house while I'm sitting at the house with the kids.
Well, that's because you didn't even get me anything, and you were just yelling at me.
Oh, she did not just say that. Who leaves her family on Valentine's Day and decides they want to go to a park by 9 in the night? Yo, this woman needs some serious scolding.
Ms. White says, my body's naked, wishing you was in this bed with me. The ex-boyfriend texts back, LOL, you are crazy, about to call you in a minute. Your wife says, LMAO, could you do that for me? Ms. White, why are you so quiet? Why are you texting your ex-boyfriend these things?
Sometimes these ladies just don't know when they take things to the very extreme. She's sending this type of text to her ex-boyfriend and she's saying her husband isn't treating her right? I honestly won't blame him if he doesn't, if we're being honest.
You can bring me some cigs, LOL, Al's a blank, and give me a Valentine's Day treat, cause Al not gonna do blank. Ex-boyfriend responds, LOL, you are a nut. I'll give you a call when I get a chance here in a little bit. Miss White, why are you entertaining all these men on text?
Man, is she being serious? I mean, if she doesn't want to be in the marriage, she might as well just say so rather than going about and telling different men she wants to sleep with them. Even Judge Lauren can't hide her irritation.
You just have these text messages?
I have pictures of her sexting people.
Pictures? I'm afraid to look, Jerome. So this says Happy Valentine's Day. How did you find out about this, Mr. White?
When on Valentine's Day, when I found the text message, I took the entire phone, and I still have possession of the phone at my house.
I am beyond speechless, as if the text messages with other guys were not enough. She even has pictures where she's naked? This is enough grounds for a divorce. It doesn't seem like she really wants to fix the marriage, if you ask me.
You're saying you're not getting what you need in the marriage. So why not just leave the marriage? Why keep doing this if you are gonna engage in this type of activity?
Well, I called the court just so I can get the results of the kids in Savannah and just move on with our lives.
And somehow, it feels like she might end up cheating if the kid belongs to Mr. White. Oh well, the DNA results are ready. Let's get to the bottom of all of this, shall we?
Mr. White, you are her father. How do you feel?
I feel happy.
Ms. Stembridge slept with her boyfriend's best friend and roommate. At least this is Mr. Buchanan's argument today in court, and they did it while he was locked up too. Ms. Stembridge adds that he has trust issues with respect to women, so he does not trust her anymore, but she promises him that the baby is his.
Nah, not really. No, I mean, who wants to hear that? You know what I'm saying? Take that serious. You know, I expect people to be up front, okay?
Okay, so this man trusted her to some extent at least. Now, what exactly is wrong? What went wrong between the two? How did we get from this phase up until where you do not trust your girlfriend with your own best friend? To top it all off, you find yourself in paternity court over this drama.
While I was locked up, breaking the brother code, all right? You don't drink. I don't care. Supermodel, you ain't drinking with this supposed to be my best friend. You know, you had to write this, all right? If
So
it's
you
peer
blaming your best friend?
Whoa, so all the responsibility is on her now. All the blame is placed on Ms. Stembridge. It's understandable because she is the one in the relationship, not the best friend. Regardless of all of this, saying that he doesn't blame Eric for anything is quite interesting because whatever happened to bro code?
I can understand your nerves are bad, that's all right. But then, check this out, all right? She kind of picked me up, all right? We get home, or we on the way, nervous.
Oh, now we're getting to it. He finds out that they have been drinking some more and he did not hear about it. Looks like he thought that it was simply a one-time thing. But wait a minute, if these two left the drinks lying around so casually, does that not mean they have nothing to hide?
So when you picked me up, you fair warned me before I got home. Why are you gonna let me find out by myself?
I didn't forget too much. I didn't forget too much.
Looks like this man was really hurt by those lemon drops. He really said that if she's drinking some lemon drops with him, he doesn't need to hear that Ms. Stembridge is drinking those lemon drops with another man, especially after figuring out how wild she gets after drinking said lemon drops.
They're not that short, Your Honor. They're not that short. Put them on right now, Your Honor. You're talking.
Arches and a booty.
You can't
That's
see
booty
that.
short.
Whoops, what a duo these two. Now he's telling us about how short her shorts were while he was not there. Also, she was lying down in the same bed, in the same room, in the same house that the three of them share. Really, Mr. Buchanan? Are you really going on like this?
Have my back since day one.
Well, go be
Ms.
with her then.
McGhee,
Go be with her.
come on, up to the
Please.
podium, please. Now, it says that you firsthand
Yes, ma'am, I
some
did.
very
Disturbing.
inappropriate behavior.
That was not
Ms.
going on, Your
Girlfriend.
Honor.
What exactly did you witness?
Did I witness when I walked in? When I walked in, all I saw was in the air.
Whoa, okay, Mr. Buchanan. Ms. Stembridge is looking at this woman with eyes that scream, look what the cat dragged in. If you're going to be in court today telling us about how much you love and appreciate your ex, maybe we should take a short drive to couples court right after this.
I hope that little girl's mine.
Hopes are granted. She's yours.
She loves Wright to go to sleep. That baby will not go to sleep unless she has me.
He is a great father,
You
Your
have tears
Honor.
in your eyes.
Yeah, that's my life.
She's not your biological daughter. What will you do?
So these two women definitely will not survive being left alone in a small room for 2 minutes. What is the problem here? How do we get to the bottom and very beginning of their fight? Mr. Buchanan is definitely going to have to just pick a side because they cannot keep living like this. Phew.
Mr. Buchanan, you gotta decide who you.
That's all I'm
your
worried about,
girlfriend. Listen, your girlfriend or your ex. Now the problem is this: we're down and you were confused and her to talk to and.
Would you take a look at that? He's such a good father to the baby girl, and he wants her so bad. Now, is that his biological daughter or not? Has Ms. Stembridge really been sleeping around, or has she not? We can only hope not, but we'll be sure when we see the results.
Mr. Buchanan, you are.
Not enough men. Are you already?
Thank you. Obvious that you're happy.
Ms. Williams and her two sisters are in court today because their mother's past promiscuous behavior led to them growing up without knowing their fathers. Their mom, Ms. Liddell, is also here to finally put an end to the paternity mystery because her daughters still punish her for past mistakes.
It was this man who was supposedly had been my father, and we were all, like his family, him, it's me and Jasmine, we wanted the paternity test. We were all there and ready.
There was never paternity.
This is about to be one chaotic case. One thing that we know already is that these girls do not like their mother. And maybe, just maybe, the mother doesn't like them too. Let's find out more.
Okay, when I, as growing up, would say, no, he's not your father, it was his dad.
Who is that? Man who's going to court today and has been.
Yes.
All right.
It's tasking trying to understand the issue at hand. The girls grew up thinking a particular man, James, was their father, but their mom would say during arguments that he wasn't. And then, this Mr. James doesn't treat all the girls equally because he doesn't think they're all his.
He calls out her name. Who are you? You talking about some, so you don't know who I am. Talking about some, I don't know, you talking about, Lisa, they're your daddy. How's you not gonna know this is my daddy when you look at it, but you tell that's your daddy?
I was never there for them.
This family has more problems than paternity court can fix. The youngest, Lisa, doesn't believe James is her father. All three girls still carry the pain of being abandoned by their mother and left with relatives. However, their mother has her reasons for doing so.
Do you know who her father?
I don't know. I'm gonna tell you. Jamie, no. Lisa, no. Sure, if James is their father, if he's not there, because I was whorish. I did me. I ran the streets. Okay, you can keep. I was whorish.
It's easy to see where the girls are coming from. The woman has no idea who the father of any of her three kids is. This means that even Mr. James Williams might not be the father of any of them.
Do you believe you are these young girls' biological father? Do you believe that?
Deep in my heart, Your Honor, and I hate to say it, and it's hurting me to say it too.
Like it, so it shouldn't be hurting you. He said no. You don't act like it. You show.
What are your doubts based
You don't believe he's your daddy?
I always had the doubt in my heart.
While Mr. James has been present in their lives to the best of his abilities, he's never been 100% sure he's their dad, and the girls have felt the same way. Imagine living your life not knowing for sure if your father's really your father or your child's really your child. That's just so sad.
Why did you miss my 8th grade graduation? You weren't away.
Because
you were out. You were able to come. Why did you miss it?
Jamie, because I keep down on myself, but I didn't care. I'm keeping it real. Y'all want me to keep it real? I'm a child. Because y'all was in my way.
You see, it's not even about their paternity anymore. These girls need to go to therapy with their mother to dissect the pent-up hurt both parties feel. Even if they find out who their fathers are, they're still going to walk out of this court, calling their mother the most insulting names.
With young people, because it will eat away at them down and lead them down the same road you were. That's obvious.
I don't know where's the use. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get better.
This is a case like no other, because it's not only about finding out who their father is. This is about a mother whose kids wouldn't give her a chance to redeem herself. This is about three girls who grew up without a mother and have learned to hate her. This is about a broken home. This is about broken people.
If the only thing you require is that she continue to tell you a piece of crap she's been, look, let me call it the way I see it. You see her, her agony every day.
Judge Lauren summed it up perfectly. The girls need to give their mom a breather because the woman is obviously aware she has done wrong by them and is living with the agony every single day. Could they give her a chance to right her wrongs?
What you need in your life and what you're wanting in your life is not just, but it's gonna truly come when you begin out who your mother was. Let's have the result.
It's best we get to the results already. Let's find out if Mr. Williams is the father of any of the girls.
Mr. Williams, you are her father.
It was out of happiness.
Comes to Lisa Williams. Williams, you are not her father. To Miss Jamie Williams, you are not her father.
So what you did for me?
Ms. Reinhardt believes that Ms. Crow claims her late son, J.C. Turner, is her baby daddy, just so she can get death benefits. However, Ms. Crow says her son, Thomas, is a result of the love she and J.C. shared while he was alive. Let us find out more.
Ms. Crow, you have summoned the defendant to court to prove that her deceased son, J.C. Turner, fathered your 2-year-old son, Thomas. Ms. Reinhardt, you state that Ms. Crow is a liar and a manipulator, and that the child in question is not your deceased son's baby.
It's always difficult to get through a case where the alleged father is dead because we don't get to hear his side of the story. Now, all we've got is what his mom knows, or what she thinks she knows.
Ms. Crow, are you doing this just for the money?
It is more than just the money. I would like help with my son, yes, of course, but my son cannot grow up and meet his father. So he deserves that right to know who his father is and to know who his family is.
It's nice of Ms. Crow to give father and son the opportunity to bond over the phone, but I'm curious to find out the rest of the story. How did JC's mom know nothing about this? Well, there is only one way to find out.
I had met her 3 times. That was about the 3rd time I had seen her.
All right, continue.
Looking at that picture,
I understand.
my son and I had a very tight relationship, and Jay would tell me everything when nobody else was around. I knew my son inside and out, and I just don't, as a mother, as a grandmother, having 4 babies of my own.
It looks like it's going to be a tough one because Ms. Reinhardt isn't even on the fence about it. She is totally confident the baby is not her grandchild. But why? How could she possibly be so sure?
From that conversation, we ended up walking to the store. We had, became inseparable. We, developed, feelings, and it did happen all too fast. He did ask me to be his girlfriend, and we did have unprotected sex as well. So there's no doubt in my mind that Jay's the father. I did not sleep with anybody else in that time when I was with him.
Although her relationship with JC was fast-paced, the progression was pretty normal. 2 people met, fell in love, slept together, and the woman got pregnant. Ms. Crow's story is quite convincing.
Well, that's your own opinion.
That's your own opinion. The mental capacity of a 16-year-old.
And this and you know what? He had feelings.
He was schizophrenic.
He had feelings.
He was schizophrenic, and he had stress seizures.
Now this is hilarious for so many reasons. Ms. Reinhardt's little technique to identify her grandchildren is just ridiculous. Besides, the pictures look identical, don't they? That baby looks like grandma to me. But again, we cannot be so sure.
Silly sense of humor like Jay. He likes to dance like Jay. And, just right there, you can see it. Like his hair, that is Jay. And, there are things about him that are a lot like me.
Ms. Reinhardt says the baby doesn't look like her, and Ms. Crow's like, that's okay, because the baby looks like his father. Even though both metrics don't matter in the long run, Ms. Crow currently has the upper hand.
I have a bowed left leg. My daughter has a bowed left leg. JC was pigeon-toed from birth. So JC lived being severely pigeon-toed all his life.
Here we go again with all the features. Can we please cut to the chase and be serious for once? This is no joking matter. This grandma needs to understand that the case is more serious than this.
Everybody that we would come across, friends, even people we didn't know, he had conversations with. She's pregnant with my baby. He's really happy. He's excited. He never denied my child. And I knew for a fact that, he's the father because I haven't been with anybody else. I was only with him in that time frame. He did come when my son was 3 months old.
Ms. Crow made a good choice in breaking up with JC for the safety of herself and her 2 other kids. But how come nobody mentioned these kids until now? Guess they're not so relevant to the case.
My boyfriend, that's not his father. He was Jamaican. Does he look half Jamaican? And you know, I lost my father the same year my son lost his father. So there's no reason why I would be up here for no reason. I'm doing this for my son.
You can tell Ms. Reinhardt is trying so hard to look for proof that the baby's not JC's. Now she brings up the issue of Ms. Crow's Jamaican boyfriend when the baby doesn't even look the least bit Jamaican.
Question then becomes, why is your pursuit different in death than it was in life?
What?
Meaning after the death, you had the means, the time, the wherewithal, the initiative to find the benefits, find the DNA. You want your child to know his father.
Now that is one tough question. You broke up with the man, and he only hung out with his son once. You had 9 months before he passed, but didn't do anything until you saw his obituary?
I didn't even know when the baby was born because I wasn't contacted.
Jay knew.
Jay knew. He's
knew.
Supposedly the alleged father, not.
It don't have to be alleged because we're gonna find out today.
So
You're
listen.
gonna see for yourself.
Yes, we are.
Yes, and then I can let my scab.
It is glaring how much these 2 women can't stand themselves, and it is sad because they're losing sight of what matters at the moment, the baby. Their arguments are both valid, but the baby's paternity is at stake.
I want to ask you to be fair because I asked Ms. Crow the same question. How do you lose track of him?
That's your son.
He was mad with me because he believed that I was stealing his money.
Good question, because we can't push all the blame on Ms. Crow. Ms. Reinhardt was his mother at the end of the day, and if indeed he had the mental capacity of a 16-year-old, how did she leave him all alone?
So we're here now, and this is serious because JC is gone now.
Yeah,
he's no longer with us, but this baby, who's potentially his biological child, is here, 2 years old. Only seen his father one time, and the mother and the grandmother are at odds.
The 2 women could keep going on and on and on, but there's no time for that. It's time to see what the results say so Ms. Crow will know if she's getting those death benefits or not. Please read the results out, Judge Lake, and let us resolve this case once and for all.
The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Reinhardt and Thomas Crow is 99.6%. You are related. That is your grandchild.
This is one messy situation you will never forget. Trust me. Ms. Bargy found herself in the middle of 2 men, her husband and her ex-boyfriend. The crazy thing about this situation was that both men believed they were the father of Ms. Bargy's baby, and she had no idea who the father was. She started her case by saying this.
Ms. Bargy, you and I spoke briefly in my chambers.
Yes, Your Honor.
You admit you cheated on your husband, and now you are caught in a paternity triangle, with both men believing they fathered your 2-month-old daughter, McKenna.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are hoping today's DNA results prove that your husband is her father.
At least she's not denying making a mistake, and the beautiful part is that she wants to find a way out. Judge Lauren, understanding the intensity of the situation, proceeds to ask her husband what type of bond he had built with the child. As you would expect, he loved the baby beyond words could explain.
Mr. Bargy?
Yes.
You've fallen in love with McKenna.
Yes.
Tell me about the relationship you have with her.
I could be at work for 10 to 12 hours a day. I take 5 minutes out of my time, busy or not at work, video call, sit here like that right there. I wake her up when I get home.
Aren't they just cute in that video? Anyway, Mr. Lawson, the ex-boyfriend, wasn't ready to give up his claim of being the father of the child even after seeing Ms. Bargy's husband and the baby bond so well.
I believe I am because I was around. She was with me when she got pregnant. I was there for the whole pregnancy. I was there when McKenna was born.
Ms. Bargy, can you explain to the court how we got here?
I was having issues with my husband when I came back. We had been together for about a month, and we ended up having intimate time.
It seems like the break from her marriage took a wild turn, and now she's paying for the consequences. Now trust me, that's not all. When she found out she was pregnant, she told Mr. Lawson before her husband. Why? Because they were living together at the time. Jeez.
The day that I found out was the end of April. It was April the 27th. The whole month of April I was getting sick, and I took a pregnancy test, and then it came back that I was pregnant.
Who did you tell first?
I told my mother first, and me and Calvin had been living together.
Even Judge Lauren was disappointed to hear that, but there was more disappointment coming her way. Ms. Bargy never mentioned the pregnancy to her husband. She claimed she didn't have the courage to confront him about it, but here's how he found out.
The time when you actually got up the courage to tell your husband that you were pregnant and McKenna could be his child.
I did not tell my husband, period. He had a mutual friend that was on my Facebook, and they had actually sent him a picture of me posting an ultrasound, and then he started contacting me, and then finally I had to sit down with him and talk to him and tell him.
Wow, so she was sleeping with Mr. Lawson and her husband at the same time? That explains why they both feel they could be possible fathers of the baby. But the truth bombs keep getting worse. Ms. Bargy went on to tell the judge that she found out that her husband was also sleeping with his ex.
He had spoken to one of my friends, and they had talked about actually being together. My friend was one of his exes. His ex actually messaged me and was showing me messages that him and her were sleeping together when me and him.
Mr. Lawson?
Yes.
Oh, I'm siding with Judge Lauren. That's one big mess. Unlike Ms. Bargy's husband, Mr. Lawson had no relationship with the child in question. He claimed that when he tried to be in the child's life several times, Ms. Bargy was evasive because she wanted her husband to be the father of the child.
Right now, I don't have a relationship because when Miss Bargy left, we have talked and tried to set up times for me to see her, but there is a lack of information.
You feel like she's being evasive.
Your Honor, I have given him plenty opportunities to see her. I've called him 3 and 4 days in advance and said, look.
Could Mr. Lawson be lying about trying to see her child? Who knows? Ms. Bargy made one thing clear to the judge. She claimed that if Mr. Lawson ended up being the father, she wouldn't want him anywhere near her child.
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you thought about the results? If Mr. Lawson is McKenna's biological father, have you thought about where you go from here?
If Mr. Lawson is her father, I do not want him to be a part of her life, period. Like, I want rights terminated because my daughter deserves so much better. My husband has been there and took care of her.
She must really dislike Mr. Lawson. Well, it's time we reveal the DNA results and bring their paternity drama to an end. Let's see if Ms. Bargy's prayers are going to be answered.
The biological father is Mr. Lawson. You are McKenna's biological father, Mr. Lawson.
That's okay. I'm still gonna raise her.
Do you want to be in her life?
Yes, Your Honor.
You do. The fact that he wants to be a part of her life, you guys got to figure this out. Still in a sexual relationship all the time?
Yes, Your Honor.
How many months is that?
About 4 months.
You are the father. How are you feeling in this moment?
I had already accepted the situation when I knew he wasn't, but it's to actually know he's not mad, it just hurts a little bit more.
Mr. Campbell, you are not the father. Were you using protection?
No, Your Honor, we were not. And he was there. So that's why I'm mainly upset. You were there for the 25 minutes of pleasure. Well, it's been 9 months. It's been 9 months, and I bought every diaper.
After she told me that she was pregnant with another man's child and I wasn't the father, I was trying to stay around.
No, those were before, honey. Don't you sit there and lie. That April 8th and the April 4th were before. That middle.
Ms. Hollinger is suing Mr. May on behalf of her 2-year-old son. After signing the boy's birth certificate, the defendant neglected his responsibilities as a father. If he didn't believe he was the father, why did he sign the birth certificate? Let's find out.
In the court for a DNA test, proved that the defendant is the father of your 2-year-old son, Gabriel, you say Mr. May has abandoned his responsibilities and he will get the truth today.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. May, you claim you were pressured into signing the birth certificate and now you are stuck with a woman.
The defendant has done absolutely nothing for the child since birth. Why would he choose to ignore his responsibility? This remains a mystery. Perhaps we can understand his actions by looking at how their relationship began.
So you're not doing anything for this child
No,
right
Your Honor.
now?
I'm out of the child's life right now.
The child's 2 years old?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you agree? Nothing, Ms. Holsinger?
He hasn't done anything for my son at all. He missed his first steps, him calling his first words, which was dad.
Interestingly, the couple met through a chat line and moved too fast. They had sex without protection, making Mr. May a strong candidate for paternity. But does this automatically mean he is the father?
How did it get?
The chatting and things start happening.
So then you matter? Obviously.
Yes, ma'am.
Take me to the night in question where all the chatting turned into paternity court material.
Your Honor, it was a late night. She was one of the young ladies who was on at the other end of the line and left me a message. I left her a message and...
It turns out they engaged in unprotected sex on their first night together. That increases the likelihood that he fathered the child. But did Ms. Hollinger inform him when she found out she was pregnant? If so, how did he respond?
I called him and told him that it was a possibility of me having his child.
Months and months passed by, and then she just told me that she was pregnant.
Were you all still in a sexual relationship all the time?
Yes, Your Honor.
How many months is that?
About 4 months.
Mr. May initially accepted that the child could be his. If that was the case, why did he suddenly change his mind? However, Ms. Hollinger denies his claims of ever accepting responsibility. Let's hear her side of the story.
When she told me she was pregnant, I was going to be there for her.
And were you happy? Were you saying, "Oh, I'm going to have another child"?
I was excited.
You're lying. Why is he lying, Ms. Holsinger? What was his response? Is he lying about that too?
He was like, "Are you serious? Are you?"
There seems to be confusion about Mr. May's initial reaction to the pregnancy. If he once accepted the possibility, what made him start having doubts? Understanding this will give us a clearer picture of how they got here.
Did you have doubts in the beginning, Mr. May?
No, I did not in the beginning.
Yes, you did.
Not in the beginning. She told me her word. I took her word for what it was. You know what I'm saying? So
I don't.
That's not true.
That's not true.
At what point did you say to yourself, "I may not be the only possible father here"?
Shockingly, Ms. Hollinger allegedly hid behind a refrigerator. If true, this would justify Mr. May's doubts. It suggests that he might not be the only possible father. Why would she do that, and will she admit it?
Were you hiding behind the refrigerator, Ms. Holsinger?
Yes, ma'am, I was because.
In your own house?
Yes, ma'am, because this man would not leave me alone, and I did not want to deal with him. And he would just pop up all the time, and I just didn't want to deal with that.
But that's not all. Mr. May has more reasons for his doubts. The situation keeps getting more intriguing. If you initially sided with Ms. Hollinger, you might reconsider after hearing what the defendant has to say next.
And though, Your Honor.
Oh, what else?
I mean, I'm not too heavy of a sleeper, so at the time, I'm spending the night with her. I'm seeing messages pop up on the phone. That led me to doubt too. Not only the backdoor situation, but just text messages, you know what I mean? Things I would hear on the streets. And
Ms. Hollinger is ready to defend herself against Mr. May's accusations. But let's be honest, why did she hide behind the refrigerator that day? Regardless of her explanation, it's understandable why the defendant became suspicious.
I wasn't even in a relationship, so why would I have to hide somebody's
Why was she hiding
name and a
herself,
number?
Your Honor? Why was she hiding herself from when the dude knocked on the back door? She wasn't.
Because he was my stalker.
Okay, so bottom line is you were hearing rumors, you saw messages on her phone.
Guys knocking at the back door, Your Honor.
Despite his doubts, Mr. May was present at the hospital for the child's birth. Signing the birth certificate was a significant step. If he truly had concerns about paternity, why did he go through with it?
So when you actually went into labor?
Yes, ma'am, he wasn't there for me. My family member actually had to go and get him so he could come up there and see my son.
Oh, so they went to go get him.
And I had my doubt. I had my doubts. That's why I wasn't willing to.
Given the mysteries surrounding their relationship, it's hard to determine if Mr. May is the father. Since they had unprotected sex multiple times, the truth can only be revealed through a DNA test. Let's wait for the results.
Mr. May, you are the father. Good news.
Yes, ma'am.
Great.
He has a great father.
Listen.
I can't tell.
Listen, it's amazing when I think about you all saying you just were feeling lonely and didn't know what to do with yourself, so you just called a chat line.
Miss Martine appears before the judge, claiming that Mr. Hernandez has denied paternity of both her children. She now demands a DNA test and child support. However, the defendant refuses to back down and is willing to go to great lengths to prove he isn't the father.
Martinez, you say your family is torn apart since the defendant has denied both of your children, 4-year-old Richard II and 3-year-old Renee. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove the truth and hope.
One child is 4 years old and the other is 3. It would be interesting to know what Mr. Hernandez has done for them since birth. But if he did absolutely nothing just because of doubts without proof, that would be absurd. Let's find out the truth.
The results will save your relationship.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hernandez, you say you were suckered into claiming the plaintiff's 2 children and can't trust anything she's said. You're currently behind more than $6,000 in child support and
According to Miss Martine, the defendant has done nothing for the kids except for $200 worth of clothing. How accurate is this claim? Let's hear Mr. Hernandez defend himself.
refuse to care for either child until it is proven.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Hernandez, what has he done for the children?
Absolutely nothing until about 3 weeks ago. He did get them at least $200 worth of clothing, but other than that, that's all he's done their whole life.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
Regardless of his issues with their mother, he should have done more for the children. Growing up without a father's love and support can be traumatic. Until paternity is disproven, men must understand that neglecting responsibilities isn't acceptable.
My kids suffer. Every night when I put them to bed, they cry asking where he's at. He doesn't call to check on them, to even get them on the phone and say, can I talk to them? Can I see how they're
That's
doing?
a lie, Your Honor.
He does nothing.
I try as much as I can, but it's hard to try to do that when I don't know if they're mine for sure.
There seems to be a deep mystery in the plaintiff's relationship with the defendant. What led to this situation? Perhaps understanding how their relationship began will give us more clarity.
Obviously, the relationship is in trouble. How did this start?
We first met, she was trying to get all over me or whatever from the beginning, but I ignored her.
Were you interested in having a relationship with him at that point?
Relations, but not a relationship.
Okay. And what were your intentions, Mr. Hernandez?
Although their love wasn't serious at first, it grew over time. However, Mr. Hernandez makes shocking allegations about Miss Martine that suggest she wasn't fully committed. Are his claims strong enough to justify his doubts about paternity?
Being serious, I felt like it was, and I don't know, I wanted to be with her. All of a sudden, I find out she's doing other things with my friends and stuff.
Wait a minute, she did what with whom? Apparently, Mr. Hernandez has a solid reason for questioning whether he is the father. That's just his side of the story. It would be interesting to hear how Miss Martine responds.
Doing other things like?
It's one incident he's talking about, Your Honor. It was a one-time thing. Me and his friend had messed around.
See? You see the stuff that
Wow.
It's a one-time affair? Really? Miss Martine? After his discoveries, how could he not have doubts? What's even stranger is that he continued his relationship with her despite everything. It turns out the romantic feelings weren't mutual. Only one side was truly invested.
You stayed with her?
Yes. I don't know what I was thinking at the time, but
And
it's
he
been
can't
so long
say that
now.
because even prior to that, I was always told him I didn't want to be in a relationship. He forced it. He was always like, come on, please be with me. I don't know why you don't want to be with me.
That's
And I
a
told him
lie.
I wanted to be single because I wasn't ready to be tied down with one person. So every time I would have,
That's a lie.
relationships with other people, I would tell
She
him.
sleeps with men,
I
my
would tell him
friends,
and I
Your
would
Honor.
say, hey, I did have sex with somebody the night before or whatever.
Miss Martine was brutally honest about her lack of feelings, but Mr. Hernandez was too blinded by love to care. Still, if she truly didn't feel anything for him, why did she stay around him so much?
I felt like it was something else. Other than that, I didn't.
It sounds like she's being brutally honest throughout this, but you're not wanting to hear it.
If she didn't want to be with me, she didn't like me. Well, why would she still come to
I
my
did
house?
have feelings for
A
him,
2-hour
but
drive
I was not
on the
ready
bus
to be
for
committed.
what?
I liked hanging out with him. He was more like my best friend when we first. I was going through a lot of things.
Enough of their complicated relationship drama. While it helps us understand the situation, the main focus is paternity. The real question is whether Miss Martine had sex with someone else during the conception period.
Is that true, Ms. Martinez? Were
Yes,
you
it is.
intimate with another man a
Yes,
few
Your
weeks
Honor.
before you told him you were pregnant?
Yes, I did have intercourse with him 3 times and unprotected that night. And I told him about it. He still wanted to be with me.
She lied about it.
I did.
First
I
of all,
did.
she
I
said that
did
it
tell
was
him that we did
protected.
it.
The fact that they were in a serious relationship while she had multiple partners is shocking. But at this point, all that matters is the DNA test results. Let's get the truth once and for all.
Mr. Hernandez, you are his father. Moving on. In this particular case, your doubt was really about the fact that she had this one-night stand with the person you knew.
Today's case is filled with wild mysteries beyond imagination. Mr. Thompson desperately needs a paternity test to determine if his wife's newborn baby is truly his biological son. The fate of their marriage depends on the results, making the stakes incredibly high.
Mr. Thompson, you are in court today in hopes of saving your 11-year marriage. Your wife has a newborn 4-month-old Micah Pate Thompson, who you hope is your baby, but say your doubts are overwhelming. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
First, we need to understand the current status of the couple's relationship. As expected, things are rocky, which is why they are in court today. However, Mr. Thompson's testimony might leave everyone shocked.
The current status of our relationship is rocky. You know, we haven't had sex probably in about 7-8 months. You know, and it's just, you know, she don't like to cook, she don't like to clean, she don't like to work. So it's a lot going on other than Micah. So it's...
Even though he isn't sure if he fathered the child, he has a special bond with baby Michael. But will the DNA test results change how he feels? Let's hear what he has to say.
Baby to be your biological child, but you truly doubt.
I would love for him to be my son. You know, if he wasn't mine, I don't know if I could raise another man's child, but with everything going on and the connection that me and Micah has together.
Despite their troubled marriage, there is still love in this family. But the real mystery remains. Why are they here today? It all started with a shocking discovery.
We got married. I got married in a jogging suit. We had a t-shirt.
I had t-shirt, jeans, and Timberlands on, and I was drunk. Yeah, I was kind of toasted.
It sounds like it was an interesting and entertaining day.
Surprisingly, this isn't the first time they have taken a DNA test for their child. If they were so in love and trusted each other, how did things get to this point? The answer is still a mystery.
I had to get a DNA test on my first two boys right here. We married, but every time while we're in a marriage,
I was going to ask the same question.
You know, I don't understand.
What happened in this relationship?
Honestly, Your Honor, I think when we first got married, we really weren't ready to be married.
Apparently, Mr. Thompson left his wife at one point because they weren't ready for marriage. Here's the twist. While he was away, he broke his vows, yet he expected her to remain loyal. How ironic.
When I left, she said she was going to work on herself. Me and her had ample
conversations. While he was with somebody else.
About her working on herself. She was working on herself because she deleted me off social media. I found out she started adding all these other dudes to her social media page.
Because you were gone. You were living with somebody else.
At this stage, you'd think they are heading for divorce. But guess what? One of them refuses to see that as an option while the other is ready to move on. Crazy, right? Well, there's more.
Were you all planning to get a divorce?
Nah.
Yes.
So you're just gonna go move in with somebody else and still think you're gonna be married?
When I said something about a divorce, she didn't want a divorce.
As soon as he left and I found out that he was staying with somebody else and they were supposed to be in a relationship, I printed up the divorce papers myself.
What started as a beautiful relationship has now fallen apart. Mr. Thompson eventually returned home hoping to fix things, but the defendant had other plans, and honestly, who could blame her?
I came back, we was under understanding that I was gonna come back and we was gonna work on our marriage. She told me that she was going to Atlanta for a job interview. I said, what job interview you going to? And she named a couple jobs off, and I said, okay. So me being me in that conversation, when me and her got done talking, I got on the phone with my mother, and I was like, she's not going to no Atlanta for no job interview. She going to Atlanta to do what she was going to do.
Shockingly, the defendant didn't just sit back and accept things. This time, Mr. Thompson did some investigating and found something unexpected. But what exactly did he discover? Let's hear it from him.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And then when do you find out you're pregnant?
Hold on. She went back to Atlanta 2 weeks later.
For a follow-up interview?
Yeah, she said a second interview. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to leave nothing out because I don't want anybody to say...
I know that's right. You go ahead and prove your case, Mr. Thompson.
Miss Thompson doesn't deny her husband's accusations. Instead, she claims she was simply getting payback for his infidelity. Interestingly, Mr. Thompson conveniently left out his own wrongdoings while focusing on hers. But in court, the whole truth must be revealed.
Is this true?
Yes, it's true, Your Honor, but he skips over all the stuff that he did. Besides the going back and forth all summer between me and the other girl, and then moving all the way to Alabama with the girl, and leaving me with the kids.
Now we know that cheating wasn't one-sided. It happened on both ends. But that's a matter for a marital court. Right now, the only thing that matters is the paternity of the baby. Let's hear Judge Lake read the results.
Mr. Thompson, you are not the father. I know that's not what you wanted to hear, sir. How are you feeling in this moment?
I had already accepted the situation when I knew he wasn't, but is to actually know you're not mad. It just hurts a little bit more.
There are many paternity cases with wild mysteries, but this one is on another level. Miss Anthony claims her relationship with Mr. Porro wasn't long-term, yet it resulted in a pregnancy. Now they are in court to determine if he is the child's biological father.
You claim you had a short-term relationship with the defendant, Mr. Puchel, who was initially excited when you told him you were pregnant. But now you are furious he is denying your 8-month-old son Matt. That correct?
Yes.
Interestingly, the defendant insists the child isn't his. He claims Miss Anthony admitted to certain things she did during the window of conception. According to him, their relationship was never serious, and he believes she has an agenda.
Mr. Puchel, you say you've never taken Miss Anthony seriously, and she herself confessed to sleeping with other men during the time of conception. You believe the only reason Miss Anthony is pinning her child on you is because you married someone else. Is that correct?
The truth is, as long as they had unprotected sex, there's a strong chance that Mr. Porro could be the child's father. With that possibility, did he provide any support for the child? Let's find out.
So, Ms. Anthony, what has Mr. Puchel done for your child?
Not a damn thing, Your Honor. Nothing. Not a diapers, not wipes, not for.
Apparently, he was never there, not even once. Since no DNA test was conducted before now, he should have at least considered the possibility and taken some responsibility. What does he have to say about that?
That's
Not
only
anything.
because she told me that the child was
I'm getting to
mine.
that. I did tell him that the child was not his, but Your Honor, he was not in a very good place in his life. He was partying, and I was partying too, but once I found out I was pregnant, I put all those things aside and did what I had to.
To be fair, Miss Anthony initially told him the baby wasn't his. So why is she now claiming that he is the father? This sudden change raises a lot of questions.
But she told me that I wasn't the father.
Later on, I
Told
did
me
tell him he
that
wasn't the father.
her ex-boyfriend was the father, that she was pregnant before she met me.
And now you say he's denying the baby, but you admit to telling him he wasn't the father.
Yes, ma'am, I did, and I understand that was me being.
In such cases, it's important to understand the nature of their relationship before diving deeper. From their statements, it doesn't seem like a romantic relationship, even though they were involved in romantic activities.
I was sitting at the bus stop, and he walked up to me and asked me about one of my tattoos, and we just clicked from there. We were amazing when we were together. We didn't fight very much. We never argued. And then I went away for a little while, and it just got...
We had mainly a party relationship, to be honest with you.
With that settled, the next big question is whether they used protection. If they did, then there wouldn't even be a case. Their answers to this could change everything.
Were you using protection?
No, Your Honor, we were not. And he was there. So that's why I'm mainly upset. You were there for the 25 minutes of pleasure. Well, it's been 9 months. It's been 9 months, and I bought every diaper.
Mr. Porro argues that he would have stepped up if he had known the child could be his from the start. However, Miss Anthony insists she tried reaching him, and she even brought proof to court to support her claims.
If there was a possibility that it was mine in the beginning, I would have been around.
I've tried to contact him on multiple occasions. I have text messages right here.
I'd like to see that.
I've attempted to, and that's from his spouse. That's not from him because he blocks me and doesn't.
Now let's clarify the situation. Did Miss Anthony tell Mr. Porro immediately after taking the pregnancy test that he wasn't the father? Her answer will reveal whether he had any real reason to avoid responsibility.
At the point you figure out you're pregnant, you take a test and he's with you.
Yes.
But when you took the test and it came back positive, you immediately told him you're not father?
Oh, no, not immediately.
All right, tell me what happened then.
Well, we went to bed that night, and I laid there all night and was like, I can't do this. My son deserves better, or my child, at the point I didn't know it was a boy, but my child deserves better than this. I don't know what to do.
When discussing the window of conception, Mr. Porro seems unsure if he even had sex with her during that period. He doesn't understand what it means, but Miss Anthony claims he did, and she has what she calls proof. How convenient.
Were you having sex with Ms. Anthony during the window of conception, Mr. Puchel?
I don't know what the window of conception was, so honestly, I don't have an answer for that, Your Honor.
Okay, that's fair.
Yes, he was. I have pictures with dates on them right
I'd
here.
like to see that, please. Jerome, will you hand me her evidence?
And that was.
Just when it seemed like she had the upper hand, Mr. Porro drops a shocking revelation. His claims completely contradict her so-called proof. Now, things are getting even more complicated.
Told me that she was pregnant with another man's child, and I wasn't the father. I was trying to stay around.
No, those
to
were
help her
before,
take
honey. Don't you
care
sit there and
of the
lie.
child.
That April 8th and the April 4th were before. That middle one was after.
Because I met you in late March. No, actually late February, and you supposedly got pregnant early March.
At one point, Miss Anthony's claims made sense, but Mr. Porro's counter-arguments changed everything. The truth about the child's paternity remains unclear. Thankfully, that's why they took a DNA test. So let's get to the result.
Puchel, you are the father. That's the first time I've seen you smile today, Mr. Pouchot.
Mr. Campbell mysteriously walked out on his ex-wife and alleged son over 3 decades ago, and the reason remains unknown. Now, his ex-wife, Miss Hauer, is taking him to court to confirm the paternity of her son, Mr. Michael. This case is crucial, as the test results could help find a solution to Michael's medical condition.
You claim your ex-husband unexpectedly walked out on you when your son, Michael Campbell, was 5 months old. You say your son has had medical problems since he was a child, and you have petitioned the court for a DNA test in order to hopefully find a solution.
The defendant, however, denies fathering the plaintiff's son and is here to prove his claim. But shouldn't this test have been done a long time ago? If not for anything else, at least for the sake of the unwell young man.
Mr. Campbell, you say you never believed the plaintiff's son belonged to you, and today's result will prove your case and clear your name. Is that correct?
Mr. Campbell is adamant that he is not Michael's father, while Miss Hauer insists he is. Her explanation might sound convincing, but words alone won't be enough to prove paternity. Only a DNA test can reveal the truth.
So, Ms. Hauser, how positive are you that the defendant is your son's father?
100%, Your Honor.
You are. Explain.
Mr. Campbell and I met when I was a junior and he was a senior in high school. And what ended up happening was mid to late July, early August, I became pregnant.
Interestingly, the ex-lovers had once run away and gotten married against Mr. Campbell's parents' wishes. But here's the mystery. If he never believed he fathered the child, why marry her in the first place? No man throws his life away for a child he doesn't think is his.
So you made the decision, Mr. Campbell, to elope with Ms. Hauser?
Yes.
You knew she was pregnant, and your family, they were not fond of this union.
My father wasn't, no.
And so you're pregnant,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
get married.
Miss Hauer claims that Mr. Campbell never doubted Michael's paternity. According to her, after their divorce, he and his family made certain moves that suggested he always knew the child was his. If that's true, why is he denying paternity now?
Ms. Hauser, you seem surprised.
Oh, very surprised. If Mr. Campbell was not Michael's father, why did he sign the birth certificate? Why, when we got divorced, did Mr. Campbell and his family try to get custody?
This case is full of mysteries. If Mr. Campbell truly had doubts about the child's paternity, why did he stay with Miss Hauer for so long? His explanation for choosing to be with her, despite his alleged uncertainty, will be crucial.
And this, you're saying you knew soon as when you married her that this wasn't your child.
Yes, ma'am.
So why marry a woman that's pregnant with another man's child and you don't believe it? There's any possibility that it's yours?
She was my first love, and
Miss Hauer firmly denies being with any other man during the time of conception. However, Mr. Campbell finally shares his reasons for doubting paternity, and to be fair, they do make some sense.
Other possibilities?
No, ma'am, there is not.
So,
Your Honor.
Mr. Campbell, I'd like to understand your doubt. Why do you doubt?
Well, when Peggy and I were together, we broke up right after I graduated, before summer had started, and we didn't get back together until August of 1980.
Despite this, Miss Hauer completely disagrees with his claims. What's even stranger is that she had no idea he questioned their son's paternity until a few years ago when she had to contact him. How bizarre is that?
See it that way, Ms. Hauser?
No, Your
How
Honor, I
do you
don't.
remember it?
I just don't understand how Mr. Campbell can say that we were broke up. We were not broke up. We were together.
When was the first time you heard he had doubts? Because he married you and...
4 years ago. Yes, Your Honor.
She insists she never cheated, but the reason for their divorce sounds like a massive misunderstanding. According to her, Mr. Campbell assumed she was unfaithful when, in reality, she was not. However, the defendant has a different and rather believable version of the story.
Were married.
Yes, ma'am.
And Michael is born. Where does the relationship go wrong? How do you end up divorced?
The relationship, Your Honor, went bad when I joined Mr. Campbell in South Carolina while he was enlisted. And then when Michael was 4 months old.
What a strange and mysterious case this has been. If you've been following along, I'm sure you're at the edge of your seat, but enough with the drama. It's time to hear the DNA test results.
Campbell, you are not the father.
Oh my.
Well, Ms. Hauser, 35 years. You were so certain.
For a second there, I thought things were going to get very physical. Well, that's what happens when the DNA tests shock not just everyone, but even the people involved. Here are some of those moments when the courtroom is wowed.
If I don't play with children, stay in the child's place. You need to
So wait, Miss Bradley,
family knows better.
Ms. Williams is furious that her husband, Mr. Jackson, is denying her miracle baby and saying that he can't be the father of the child. She admits that she made some mistakes in the past, but is very certain that Mr. Jackson is the father of her child. Could the baby really be a miracle baby? Let's find out. The case starts like this.
Ms. Williams, you are furious that your husband Lee ignores your miracle baby Wyatt and denies he is the father. You admit you made mistakes in the past, but you plan to prove paternity today in hope of saving your marriage. That correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Looks like the stakes of this case are very, very high. Mr. Jackson says that he knew that his wife cheated on him, and if the results show that he is not the father of the miracle baby, that is going to be the end of their marriage.
Married to almost 3 years, that our son is his, which is something I shouldn't have to do, but it's to please him and his family. And I'm so sick of them, that's the reason why we're here, because he's following behind his family and not his wife. I'm his wife. I'm there for him 24/7, not them.
Ha ha ha. She didn't just say that in the courtroom. I guess that shows how frustrated she is with Mr. Jackson and his family. She says that instead of listening to her, Mr. Jackson prefers to listen to his family members, and that's why they are in court in the first place.
Why does he call you Lee?
Yes, Your Honor, I don't know why, but that's what he's been calling me, so that's why I think that's not my child.
No, it's the way you treat him. You treat my older kids like they're yours versus Wyatt.
I treat him awesome, like he's mine.
He treats them better than he treats Wyatt, the new baby.
Yes, ma'am.
That's actually very painful. Mr. Jackson and Ms. Williams have other kids together. But Mr. Jackson treats the child in question very differently from the other kids, and it hurts Ms. Williams so much because they've lost 2 kids in the past.
Okay, so take me to the first doubt.
Well, I got text message to prove right here.
Text messages?
Yes, cheating.
Jerome, let me see those, please.
Read them word for word.
And these text messages you say explain your doubt.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. These are text messages you found between Ms. Williams, your wife, and another man.
Yes, Your Honor.
What? There's no way on earth any man is going to see those types of messages and not think that his wife is cheating on him. Come on. She's literally telling another man she had fun with him the last time they met. I'd really love to see how she explains these texts.
I know you had fun with me, with the wink emoji and the
deny that?
fire sign.
First of all, I'm his homeboy. I play football. He know I have male friends. We have mutual male friends together that we all chill and kick it with. So it's not like this person he does not know of or about or even hang with.
Ms. Williams is not doing a very good job explaining that text. She says that she was just joking and being dramatic over the text with a friend. She even goes on to say that the other man in the text is someone Mr. Jackson knows. I very much doubt that.
Everybody's putting emojis, but other than that, I did not cheat on him, and he knows.
Well, I would say this. How I often gauge things in relationships is if you saw that message between your husband and another woman, and at the end she said, I'm about to call you, make sure you answer, and I know you had fun with me, wink, fire.
And that's just the fact. Judge Lauren could not have said it any better for real. There's no world where your partner sees a text like that and doesn't get suspicious almost immediately. I really can't blame Mr. Jackson for thinking he is not the father of the child.
The friend says, call again, I didn't see anything. And then you say, you playing games and I need to talk to you. Then you write, I'm pregnant, can you answer the phone, please?
Now, when you have doubts, Your Honor?
Technically, if you have no one to communicate with and you're pregnant again due to the fact that you just lost 2 babies.
Could she be telling the truth? Ms. Williams tells the judge that she was looking for someone to comfort her after she lost her babies. She says that Mr. Jackson left her and she needed someone to talk to, and that's why she reached out to the man in the text.
You're saying these text messages occurred during a time after the 2 miscarriages. You all separated.
Yes. Mr. Lee was still sleeping with me in the time that we were broke and up. So, Mr. Lee, yes, you were. We made it official in November, the end of November. Me and Mr. Jackson got back together.
Phew. Ms. Jackson must really hate her husband's family. She says that if the results do come out and show that Mr. Jackson is the father of her child, she doesn't want his family near her and the kids anymore. Mr. Jackson better brace up real good because she means business.
Always have them in the way, and they're always in his ear. And at the end of the day, he was back with me. In November, we danced in the sheets unprotectedly, and after that, he told me his job had to go to Florida. Come to find out, I bumped into his sister weeks later. She was like, "Oh, girl, ma."
Oh, wow. And just like that, another truth bomb hits the floors of the courtroom. Ms. Williams says that she found out that Mr. Jackson was sleeping with someone else, and she retaliated by sleeping with the person she was messing with while they were broken up. At least she finally admits that she slept with another man.
Akayla, what's your last name?
Bradley.
Bradley. And you are what relationship to Mr. Jackson?
His cousin.
You're his cousin.
Mhm. Yes,
So,
Your
Miss
Honor.
Bradley, what do you know?
I see her creeping with my own eyes.
Thank you.
Girl.
He's at work.
Girl.
When she was staying in apartments, he's at work. She's out with other people. They'll talk outside the car for a minute. Then they'll get in the car like 30, 40 minutes.
That's all the evidence we need to know that Ms. Williams and Mr. Jackson's family definitely do not get along. Mr. Jackson's cousin steps up and says that she sees Ms. Williams hanging around with other men while Mr. Jackson is at work.
The car for if Lee at work, it's not his car. So what did you out there for?
Thank you.
So I have family members that's coming from out of state.
Why
I'm
not
from
bring
New
them in the
Orleans,
house?
y'all are from Georgia. So therefore, if my family want to roll up on me,
Why not bring
at
them
any
in the
time
house?
of day, they can, because I pay those bills.
Why not bring them inside the house?
Did she just say that her family is ready to pay for a divorce? Wow. Now I wonder how these two even got married. Clearly, both families don't like each other. I'm pretty sure the only thing keeping this family together is the kids.
End of the day, the stakes are high here because this baby's almost 2 years old. This is a time when children are establishing very real bonds with their parents, beginning to look to their fathers, say dada and mama, and begin to talk. And your wife has testified that you treat this baby differently.
Let's just say we've heard enough from them. It's time for us to get to the results. These guys don't seem like they are ready to agree on anything. The judge is ready for her verdict, and we're about to find out the truth.
Mr. Jackson, you are the father.
Mr. Maxson is in court today to testify that the defendant, Ms. Gearing, is doing what she does best. By what she does best, he means pinning babies on innocent men. Yes, you heard that right. He believes he is not the father of her child and wants to clear his name in court today. This is how the case begins.
Mr. Maxson, you testify that you had to open your case today because the defendant is doing what she does best, pinning babies on innocent men.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say she is now seeking financial help from your mother, and in order to stop her from taking advantage of your family,
I can't believe that Mr. Maxson says that she likes to pin babies on innocent men. I mean, is it something she has done before? I guess we're going to find out. Ms. Gearing, however, believes that Mr. Maxson is the father of her child.
For one, Your Honor, I didn't know anything about the baby until after she had the child.
and so how did you find out?
She contacted my mom and told my mom about it, and my mom told me. And once I found out, I had my mom to contact her so I can get a paternity test.
Wow, that's actually crazy. Mr. Maxson says that he found out about the child after Ms. Gearing had given birth. She went as far as reaching out to his mother instead of contacting Mr. Maxson himself. That just sounds very suspicious.
I was pregnant. He was in Las Vegas with another woman. I thought he was going for music. I contacted Trinidad and I told him I was pregnant. He said he wanted to come back. I sent him some money, $250 to be exact, and thought he was coming back, and he never came back, and he never called me.
Did you bring proof
So
of that?
afterwards, I did contact his mom after I had the baby.
I love when truth bombs just drop in the courtroom. I bet no one saw that coming. Ms. Gearing says that Mr. Maxson's mother accepted the baby and told Ms. Gearing that her child was her grandchild when she saw the child for the very first time. Mr. Maxson's mother, of course, says that it's a lie and it never happened.
You said that's my grandbaby.
No, I never told her that. I know 200% that that's his child.
If you
All
knew
right.
200% that was my child when I asked you for a paternity test, at first when I found out and you refused, you would have gave it to me.
Because
If that's
my baby
the
was
truth
too
now.
small.
So hold on,
That's the truth.
Yes, I did deny the
Mr.
first
Maxson, I need to hear that.
That just sounds like a flimsy excuse. Ms. Gearing says that she refused to have a DNA test done because she was going through a lot at the time, and she didn't see any point in doing the test since Mr. Maxson was not around for the child's birth. That doesn't even make any sense.
We actually, when I went back to Mississippi with my grandmother, and I did contact him first on Facebook, and it just kicked off from there. And then he moved back here to Atlanta, so I came back, and he was at my house.
So you knew each other before?
Yes, we been knew each other when we was younger, stayed on the same street.
Let's just say they couldn't wait to rip each other's clothes off. Ms. Gehring explains that they never had any romantic relationship. She texted him on Facebook. One thing led to another, and they ended up kicking it in bed in her grandmother's house. Imagine that.
With no protection.
No protection.
So apparently she was trying to stick a baby on him.
But hold on, no. The issue I'm having is that, okay, were you dating anybody else at that time?
No,
because I mean, this was the first night.
I wasn't dating anyone.
Wow. Seems like Ms. Gehring knows how to be very sneaky. Mr. Maxson tells the judge that she was in a relationship while they had their sexual relationship. There were even times when her boyfriend would call and she would tell Mr. Maxson to keep quiet so she could talk to him.
It's really not about him being a dummy. It's really about his doubt.
We wasn't a couple. We was just, we'll kick it every now and then.
Having sex unprotected, basically.
It was, and that's a lie too, Your Honor. We was using protection. And this is another reason why I say that this child is not mine. She probably was taking the condoms.
Oh, come on. He can't be serious with what he just said. He said that whenever they had sex, he used condoms. The only way she could have gotten pregnant is if she injected herself with his sperm after they were done having sex. I mean, is that even possible?
That you always used protection.
Yes, Your Honor.
With Ms. Gehring?
Yes, Your Honor.
Never once?
Never once.
Did the condom break?
No.
Did you not use one?
Never.
And Ms. Gehring, you're saying that is a complete
lie. We
lie.
never used protection. Honestly, from the first day, we never used protection.
Looks like Mr. Maxson's mother might be onto something. She says that all her son's other kids have asthma, and for some reason the child in question looks nothing like her son and also doesn't have asthma. Oh, and let's not forget the fact that Ms. Gehring said they never used protection.
When do I call you, Jasmine?
You haven't reached out.
You always reached out to me.
And ma'am, I do have evidence from when I did reach out to
I would like to see that.
Here you go.
You
in January of 2016, I asked him, can you at least see how your child is doing? He texted me 2 months later, asked for a favor to borrow some money, and I told him no.
Am I glad the judge put an end to their yelling? It seems like the battle is between Ms. Gehring and Mr. Maxson's mother. They look like they are ready to beat each other up. Well, Ms. Gehring says that she just wants Mr. Maxson to step up and be there for her child.
A text message on January 30th, 2016.
Yes, ma'am.
So you sent a picture of Alana.
Yes, ma'am.
And you type, you can ask how she's doing.
Yeah.
And the response was nothing.
Nothing. As you can see, it's blank.
Maybe Mr. Maxson is a deadbeat father after all. Ms. Gehring presented evidence that shows that Mr. Maxson did ask her for money, ignoring the message where she said he could check on her daughter. Seems to me like he really doesn't want anything to do with the child.
Pampers for your baby, yes, I would give. That still doesn't say that's my grandbaby.
Ms. Williams, you're telling me what you did for the baby or what you would do for the baby.
But
Mr.
what did he
Maxson,
do?
what have you done for Alana?
Nothing.
Nothing. I asked her for a blood test, a DNA test. She refused.
I really wonder what he is going to do if it turns out that the baby actually belongs to him. Mr. Maxson tells the judge that he hasn't done anything for the baby because he doesn't believe he is the father. And when he asked for a DNA test, Ms. Gehring didn't agree.
What?
And she was like 5 or 6 months. I was at my aunt's house. His mom came and picked my baby up. Her and her daughter came and picked my baby up.
I did not pick your baby up, Jasmine.
What in the world?
Your baby. I was about to take the baby with me. The baby started crying.
She took my baby.
Even Judge Lauren seems to be very confused at this point. We can all agree that we've seen enough of their mess. It's time to see the results and find out who has been telling the truth all along. Here comes the judge's verdict.
Mr. Maxson, you are the father.
I knew it.
Ms. Funzie has opened her case today with the hopes of saving her family. She wants to prove that her 1-month-old baby was fathered by the defendant, Mr. Irvin, who also happens to be her boyfriend. She blames his sister for coming between them and hopes that things can go back to normal. This is how the case starts.
Ms. Funzie, you have opened your case to save your family. You are here to prove your 1-month-old baby, Joakim Irvin, is your boyfriend, Mr. Irvin's. biological son. You say you and Mr. Irvin have 2 other children, and you plan to have this 3rd child. You blame his sister for stirring up his ridiculous doubts. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, if she confessed to having an affair, she really can't blame him if he doesn't believe he is the father of the child. Ms. Funzy is putting the blame on Mr. Irvin's sister. She says that she is the reason he has doubts. Well, let's see what she meant by that.
We've been dating going on 7 years and been dating since the 10th grade. And the denying that he has towards my 1-month-old child, Joaquin, which we plan to have together, is causing problems with our relationship.
She did that. She did that to herself.
You say she did it to herself?
She cheated.
Looks like they are about to turn the courtroom into a boxing ring. Mr. Irvin says that the reason they are in this mess is because she cheated on him. Ms. Funzy says that she confessed to him and told him that she cheated.
Ms. Fonzie, hold on now. You said you cheated. How did you end up cheating?
I cheated the night of my friend's dinner because I had wanted to get revenge for him cheating on me. And then once I talked to the guy and I hooked up with him the night of my friend's dinner. And we had used protection and I had sex with him one time.
Let's just say that they are both guilty of the crime. Ms. Funzy tells the judge that even if he didn't go through her phone, she was going to tell him that she had cheated because when he cheated, he came to her and told her about it.
The lady handed me the paper off the bus. You parked right outside and you saw her hand me the paper.
I didn't know if she was pregnant by me or someone else, so I just let it go.
Because you were concerned about the date.
Yes.
But it should have been on the paperwork.
Yeah, it was.
I couldn't understand the paperwork.
It was simple. I didn't write nothing. That's not my handwriting. The lady's signature on there.
That's some serious accusation. Mr. Irvin's sister says that when she looked at the paper that showed Ms. Funzy's conception date, there were signs that she had written over the initial dates that were there, making it look like she was hiding something.
Are you there for Ms.
Yes.
Funzy? Are you participating in the appointments
He went to
and
every
the birth?
ultrasound.
Yeah, I
He
went to
also
every
named our
appointment.
child.
I was even there when she had the baby.
Did you sign the birth certificate?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
And you signed the birth certificate even though you had doubt? Why?
Because I wasn't sure whether he was mine or not, and I want to do the right thing.
I don't think anybody needs to tell Mr. Irvin that signing the birth certificate even when he had doubts was a bad idea. His sister even goes on to say that she warned him not to sign, but he says that he wanted to do the right thing and went on to sign the papers.
Sir, I'd like to know from you, can you explain what knock knees are and if they are a genetic trait?
I certainly can, Your Honor. Yes, knock knees, it is when the knees point in toward each other, and more technically, when someone stands straight up and there's about a 3-inch gap between their ankles.
Well, that certainly cancels her belief. Ms. Funzy believes that that child belongs to Mr. Irvin because the child has knocked knees and their other kids have knocked knees. After what the doc just explained, it seems like her theory might be wrong.
No, Your Honor, I haven't talked to him since the day that I cheated on Jordan with him.
All right, so in this courtroom, we get to the truth. So this courtroom has tracked down this other man. He has submitted a statement to the court. It says, we eventually got each other's phone numbers and started texting.
Phew, Mr. Irvin is pissed, that's for sure. I'm pretty sure he had no idea about what the judge just read. That was one truth bomb Ms. Funzy forgot to tell him. Like he said, if the baby isn't his, he is done with the relationship.
We had sex in Jordan's car and did use protection. We kept sleeping with each other 3 to 4 times after that with no comment. This was between the months of October 2017 and November 2017.
Man! Mr. Irvin is really upset that she had sex with another man in his car. I bet he is going to sell the car once they are through with the case. With these truth bombs that keep dropping, I doubt Mr. Irvin is ever going to trust Ms. Funzy.
When was Joaquin born?
He was born June the 20th.
June the 20th.
He was born June the 20th, 2018.
June 20th, 2018. So if your relationship with this other man was in October or November...
It was in November.
Well, that would have been a 7-month pregnancy. Ms. Funzy?
And that's exactly why they say it's good to always tell the truth. Ms. Funzy finally admits in court that she actually did sleep with the other man more than one time. At least she's finally telling the truth, so that's good. Let's hope there are no more truths to be revealed.
It's like, I just wanted to get revenge. That's the reason why I had sex with him more than one time, but it's like, it ain't no relationship.
Is it true that the first time you used a condom and then the other couple of times or few times you did not?
Yes, we use condom all the time.
If only she had been honest from the very beginning. Oh well, it's too late for all that now. Her day of judgment is here, and it's time to know if she still has a relationship with Mr. Irvin or not. The results are in, and here's what they have to say.
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Winfield.
I know what I told you. I knew it wasn't his baby. When Mama went to the hospital.
Mr. Milner Sr. claims that the defendant, Ms. Heath, deceived him into believing that he fathered her 3-month-old son. He says that he loves her son, and it would break his heart if it turns out that he is not the father of the child. The case starts off like this.
Mr. Milner, you claim the defendant, Ms. Heath, deceived you into believing that you fathered her 3-month-old son, Zachariah Milner Jr.
Yes,
you
John.
say you love her son and would be devastated to find out that you've been loving another man's child, which is why you have petitioned the court to order a paternity test. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
It seems like Ms. Heath doesn't see the need for a DNA test to be done because she believes Mr. Milner Sr. is her son's dad. She does admit that there was another man, but is positive that he is not the father.
Whatever I can. And that's why I'm here. I really need this test.
Oh, you thought like a light came on, like I can use him up. I got one that's just, I can tell anything to.
Man, get away with it, yeah.
Your Honor, that wasn't the case. When I met Mr. Milner, yes, he did say he wanted the family. Of course, I wanted the same thing. I have other children, you know.
Looks like he was pretty excited to see Ms. Heath with that reaction. Mr. Milner Sr. says that he believes when he told Ms. Heath that he wanted to be a family man and have kids, she saw it as an opportunity to use him to take care of her other kids.
Other people too.
No, we were, as far as I was concerned, Your Honor, within a couple of days, we were in a relationship, literally.
So you all decided, you know what, it's just gonna be me and you, let's do this.
Right.
So now you're going well, everything's going great. What happens, you find out you're pregnant?
Okay, well, like, I was intimate with Mr. Milner.
Let's just say the excitement didn't last for long. Ms. Heath says that getting pregnant was not part of her plan because she already had kids and she didn't want any other babies. Mr. Milner Sr., on the other hand, says that he was excited when he found out about the baby and then started to have doubts.
He doesn't have it correct. I'm sorry.
Okay, how do you see it?
How I don't have it correct?
I kept trying to make sure with my doctor that I had the conception dates right. When the date got moved back, I was like, well, maybe maybe the other, in my head, I was like, maybe it could be another, the other gentleman.
I think we're starting to understand what's going on here. Ms. Heath says that she slept with the other guy before she kicked off things with Mr. Milner Sr. She says that she has always been honest with Mr. Milner Sr., and he knew about the whole thing.
Because I want, like I said that when I first met, I want a family. And I know when we was doing the giggity, the condom broke. So it could be mine. I don't know. I'm just, at the time, I love her. And I want that family. And when I see him, I just...
You can tell that he actually loves the child and wants a family with Ms. Heath. That's the reason he signed the birth certificate to begin with. The only problem now is that he just can't remove the doubt from his head.
You had sex with the other man that week of July 23rd through 26th.
Well, no, ma'am. I had sex with the gentleman on the 23rd. I ended it with him on the 26th.
But you know you were intimate with him on the 23rd.
Yes, ma'am.
So let me quickly pull up my conception calculator. If you put in Zachario's birthday of April 18th...
Well, that's not good. The judge runs through the calendar and the dates of conception point to when she slept with the other man and not Mr. Milner Sr. Seems like there are a lot of reasons that are making Mr. Milner Sr. doubt he is the father.
That one of my court employees, when she was taking notes on your statement...
Yes, ma'am.
She heard something different.
What's that?
Jerome, can you please escort Lamons Mebane into the court?
Yes.
Ms. Mebane, in the process of taking the statement from Ms. Heath, heard her say testimony that differs than what she is presenting in court today.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ouch. Now I would really love to see how she comes out of that one. Looks like Ms. Heath hasn't been sincere with both Mr. Milner Sr. and Judge Lauren all this while. There were times when she did, in fact, sleep with the other guy and not use a condom.
Did you ever tell the other man that he could be the biological father?
No, ma'am. When I called him, I strictly asked him about the condom, period, point blank. He was like, no, you made sure that I used condoms. He was like, so I should, he was like, we stopped messing around before this, all of this transpired. And he said that nothing happened with the condom.
Well, it's her cup of tea now. Apparently, the man she was sleeping with was married and she had no idea. You know what? Let's get to the results. I think we've seen and heard enough from both of them. Is Mr. Milner Sr. the father of her child?
Mr. Milner, you are the father.
Ms. Foster has asked the court to provide a DNA test so she can prove that the defendant, Mr. Fields, fathered her 17-month-old daughter, who was born with extreme medical conditions. All she wants is for him to step up. Mr. Fields, on the other hand, says that she was pregnant before they met. And he has proof. Well, here is how it started.
Ms. Foster, you've petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove that the defendant fathered your 17-month-old daughter, Sienna, a beautiful little girl born with extreme medical needs. You've dragged him to court to order he pay the support he's been neglecting. Mr. Fields, you say you're 100% certain that you are not her child's father because she was pregnant before you met.
Yes, Your Honor.
And all he got were 3 onesies and 2 pairs of socks? Lord God, what is wrong with Mr. Fields? I mean, even if he doubts that he is the father of the child, doesn't he care that the baby has extreme medical conditions that need money? How heartless can he be?
What happened the first night?
She came to my house, you understand? She had bought some new shorts. I was trying to be respectable and I asked her, do you want to go in the bathroom and change your clothes? She tells me no. Take off her pants right there in front of me. I'm still sitting in the bedroom. One thing led to another.
This is the first day you met her.
First day I seen her.
Ha ha ha. Even Judge Lauren is speechless. Mr. Fields makes a shocking confession. He says that the first night they hooked up, they had sex like it was a normal thing. When they were done, her mom came and picked her up. Let's not forget the fact that she told him she was a virgin. That's just wild.
You were saying you were a virgin at that time, were you?
I was practically, before him, there was
What's
some other guy.
practically?
There was
How
some
can you
other
be
guy.
practically a virgin?
There was some other guy
That's
before him, and I don't
impossible.
count that as a partner.
You said you were practically a virgin.
You can't practically be a virgin.
I mean, who has? There is no such thing as being practically a virgin. Either you are one or you aren't one. Ms. Foster is the only one who knows what she means when she says she's practically a virgin. Oh well, the summary is that she was not a virgin when she slept with Mr. Fields.
Was texting your brother and your mother trying to get your phone number. I'm asking you, why is this out of the ordinary if she believes you're her child's father? Of course she would try to get in touch with you. You think she's trying to get in touch with you because she wants to be with you?
No. Listen, I'm married. I'm really happy married.
Judge Lauren's face is honestly making me speechless right now. She's so confused. It's like she's looking at 2 kids who are fighting over who gets the bigger portion of lunch. Except the sad case is there's a baby in question, and the baby needs its father.
A Facebook
message that says, I still have love for you that will never change. I wish we would have had a longer relationship. Even with my girlfriend now, our relationship not going to last long.
Listen, I haven't had
this
a Facebook.
This is from Mr. Fields?
I had a Facebook in 6 months.
Let's just agree with her. She does sound pretty confident, though. Anyway, Ms. Foster drops evidence that says that Mr. Fields told her that his current relationship wasn't going to last, and he wishes they could have a future together. As you would expect, he denies it.
So, Mr. Fields, you came to the hospital for the birth, and why was that, if you didn't think the child was yours?
Because of the medical condition that the baby was in. You know, I didn't want to just up and leave.
He was there through the whole pregnancy, basically, and accept a month. And I just feel like if you were there and you thought of denial of if I was already pregnant or whatever.
Someone who doesn't think he could be a father wouldn't do all that. Ms. Foster says that Mr. Fields was there for everything. He stood by her side when the baby was born and even went to see her when she was in her mother's house. He claims that he did all of that because of the baby's medical condition. I honestly doubt that.
Family meetings.
His family got into his head.
Was in Texas.
Me and his mother actually had a good relationship. So I honestly don't know what happened. Towards the end, I'm not gonna lie, I was really rude to Jake Paul during my pregnancy because I was underneath a lot of stress. I was living an hour away from him, and it was like he wasn't, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't there.
Oh, he did not just say that to Ms. Foster. She lost her twins, and he thinks the right thing to say is suck it up and get over it with a smile on his face? That is just evil. I'm sure Judge Lauren is going to give me a lashing for that statement.
This cavalier, I don't care, everything's a shrug of the shoulders. Nothing matters to me when we're sitting here talking about a child that literally is fighting for her life to have a healthy life, and everything is life goes on, I don't care, this, that, and the third. And from where I sit is so fake. fake.
Look like I was right. Judge Lauren was pissed, and she did not spare him one bit. It's insane that he would even say something like that knowing Ms. Foster's situation. It's time for the results. Mr. Fields better pray he is not the father of the baby.
Mr. Field, you are her father. Are his father.
Oh, yeah. Look, I got something. Hold on.
She looks like her dad.
And she's light. That's it.
Shouldn't her dad be your husband if you're in a marriage?
No, Your Honor, because I
Your
told
Honor,
him I cheated on him.
Well, when I told him that I was pregnant, he kind of like was shocked a little bit. Then he was like, "She gonna be my 13th daughter. Like, how can I take care of all of
her? His what child?
13th kid."
I told her I had 8. When I came back into town, I knock on the door, and the door opened. I see my pajamas. Mr. Ray has on the pajama top.
That is not true to me.
The gentleman has on the pajama bottom.
Your pajamas.
My pajamas. I didn't create no drama. I didn't fight. I didn't do anything. I turned around. I tell my cousin, I said, come on.
A distressed father seeks clarity regarding the paternity issue that has been troubling him.
You claim that when your son turned 3, the defendant, your wife, admitted to you that you may not be his biological father. You have petitioned the court for a paternity test, seeking a definitive answer today with hopes that your son is biologically yours.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Both parties involved share equal responsibility for the act of infidelity.
During that vacation, we had separated. When I get back from the vacation, I go to like different houses that she's at. Periodically, I see this same dude at the different houses. So I'm like, okay, it's nothing. We're separated. She tells me she's pregnant. I'm like, okay.
Mr. Pickett elaborated in court on the depth of his suspicions.
He told me that the other guy that was there was for Shanae.
So it was one of those type things.
It was one of those type of things. Now this extended vacation is over. I'm back again. I'm playing daddy. I have no problem with playing daddy. I love my kid. That's why I'm here today.
Okay.
I love these little guys. Let's just speed it up just a little bit. I say, let's mend it together. We cool. You're my friend. You're my lover. You're my wife. These are our kids. We already did this.
This ultimately resulted in the uncomfortable question being posed.
Everything's good. We're back together. Now, in the back of my mind, I wish I could blow this little thought out.
So you're back together?
We back. It's cool. Swimming pools on the side of the house. Everything's good.
Okay.
So I ask her. She denies. I ask her. She denies.
What do you ask?
I'm asking her, is these my kids? Is this my son? Have you been cheating? I love you. I quit cheating. And you can ask the girls. They be like,
Subsequently, Mrs. Pickett admitted that her husband had legitimate concerns.
Just based on what I told him, he does have a reason. I did wait 3 years later to tell him. I let him know I stepped out and did something I shouldn't have done.
Before I got from the extended vacation, Your Honor. 3 weeks before, Your Honor, I got back from my vacation. She messing with this dude. I said, I'm gone. Then my son is born 3 weeks early. So I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. This doesn't make any sense.
Despite this, Slake attempted to bring matters to a close in this manner.
Oh, you were gone. You had no idea what she was doing. You know, might have been something going on.
Your Honor,
and then she admitted to it.
I called on that phone. And mind you, when you on that phone, everything, you just wait, be quiet, because you're on the phone. Hello, what y'all doing at the house? Who is that in the background? That's what you do on those extended vacations, because you don't know what's going on.
So you got your spidey sense up.
Mr. Pickett even reiterated his outburst during the trial.
She admitted it. I said, this is the first thing I said, Your Honor. I said, after all this time, this is my
exact. How you did it?
I did just like this. I was in short pants. We were supposed to go swimming, and I just lost the whole swimming mode. I was like, oh my God, oh my God. And then I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Whoa. And then it was like, I walked outside.
Mr. Pickett, did you do that?
I did all of it.
The next witness took the stand and described the alleged father as quite challenging.
He loves his kids dearly. He wants to be with them all the time. He has them now. He's never forgiven her. He's never given her a chance for anything. She can't work. She can't do nothing.
You saying he's controlling?
He's very controlling. He's very intimidating to her. That's why she's standing here quiet now. She can't come enjoy time with me. She can't be at my mom. She can't be nowhere without him wanting to know exactly what's going on. He just shuts her down every time.
Mr. Pickett attempted to justify his actions in this way.
Always a possibility for doubt, and there's always a possibility for it being for real. I laid down with this woman. I did. Passionate or however you want, I did all of that, everything.
But you do that with a lot of women. You do that, you bring all this in her face all the time.
Are you still cheating with other women?
There ain't no cheating. If you separated, there's no cheating.
The judge acknowledged the situation, emphasizing that marriage requires mutual effort.
He's hurt.
I understand that.
Your Honor, he wanted to let her work
and trust me, I understand that when there's a child involved that you spend time with, you keep saying these thoughts in the back of your mind, these thoughts in the back of your mind. Can you imagine that she also has thoughts in the back of her mind?
She got more than me.
As the proceedings progressed, the atmosphere became increasingly chaotic, culminating in Jerome nearly tackling someone.
You are his father.
Oh, yeah. Look, I got something for you. Hold on. Oh, see, straight up. Straight up.
Mrs. Johnson has reached a point of exhaustion in her struggle to choose between her son and her husband, prompting her decision to seek a divorce.
You claim your husband of 7 years is forcing you to choose him over your 12-year-old son, Elijah. You have separated multiple times over the past 5 years of your marriage. You have petitioned the court to order Mr. Johnson into family counseling because you say if he will not agree, you plan to divorce him.
Yes, Your Honor.
She further disclosed that her sons were not receiving equal treatment.
I want my kids to feel equal. I want my oldest son
when you
to
say
feel
he shows
love.
favoritism,
For an example, I put my kids in baseball. He would participate in our son. He would never participate in Elijah's.
That's not
that
true at all.
photo right there was Elijah's birthday. I took him to the go-karts and he was supposed to meet us after work and didn't even show up.
Mr. Johnson was unwilling to accept such judgment.
You can't expect different results when you're not willing to
He
make a change.
undermines me at home. Discipline your son.
Mrs. Johnson, you said your son asked you, Mom, why can't I have a dad too?
Yes.
He does have a dad. I'm there for him. I potty trained him. I've taught him how to ride bikes. I play video games with him. I've tried
this was
so
years
many times.
ago,
It was
though.
years
Mr.
ago.
Johnson, but do you show favoritism? Do you?
Nevertheless, Mrs. Johnson presented her son's letter to the court.
My name is Elijah. I'm 12 years old. I don't want my mom and Jason to be together anymore. I don't like Jason at all. I don't like being around him. I don't ever want to see him again.
Why? I don't care.
Jerome,
That
please
doesn't mean
hand me
nothing
that
to
letter. Do you have any idea why Elijah would feel this way?
Elijah's disrespectful to me, to her.
Conversely, Mr. Johnson also had his share of challenging experiences to recount.
To remodel the entire place. She told him specifically to clean up after himself. He is 12 years old. I cleaned the entire house. 5 minutes later, he destroyed it. There's food everywhere. I asked him, pick up after yourself. I shouldn't have to do it. You're 12 years old. He told me, you'll have to deal with her when she gets home. He knows I can't have that house like that because then me and her are going to fight over a dirty house. And I'm not going to fight over a dirty house. You know what happened? I cleaned it.
Informed the court that he was making efforts to fulfill his responsibilities as a parent.
If he's 12 years old, can he pick up after himself? Can he listen to his mom? Can he respect his
So
elders?
learning how to do chores, clean up after himself.
Respect.
Yeah, but you
Do
gotta
you think
give
he respects
respect.
his
I did
mother?
give respect for many, many years.
This turmoil ultimately resulted in the couple's separation.
Separated because of this.
Right now.
I mean, I love Jason with all my heart. I do. And
I love
I
her
would
too.
love for us to work and to be a happy family.
We don't
but
see eye to
at
eye.
the point it's at right now, I just don't know if that's ever going to happen. So much has happened. So many.
How do you want me to be a father but
being
not do fatherly
disrespectful.
things?
Mrs. Johnson's witness provided testimony in support of her claim.
You're being left out on a lot of things. Father, son, ice cream. You ask Ethan to pick up your room. It's like, would you pick up your room? What's wrong with you? Why don't?
So why aren't we here for the way you
yelling
talk
at
to
him?
Ethan?
You know, talk to him like a human being, not like an animal that did something wrong.
Wouldn't that go for both children, not just Elijah? Like what Ethan, my son?
Mr. Johnson's witness offered a contrasting perspective.
There's a lot of disrespect going around. You got the whole family involved here. Courtney's a good-hearted person. She tries to please everybody. And she goes out of her way to please me. I'm just the mother-in-law. But she does that. She's a pleaser. But you got to set limits for your children. You cannot be best friend with the 8, 7, 10-year-old, 12-year-old. You can't be best friend.
However, the situation proved to be more complex than it appeared.
Around 12 years old are a lot to handle.
He's twice.
That's a really tough age. I can remember being 12 years old.
Does it happen to you when it's just you and him? Disrespect
Are you all interviewing each other, or am I trying to figure out what's going on in the marriage? Because my thing is, all of a sudden you get in here and you want to talk to one another.
Consequently, the judge concluded that both parents needed to reconcile their differences.
Two of you in your marriage, some of which are caused by the parenting issues, others financial issues and such, professional issues. They're all getting clogged together. Ultimately, the children are the ones suffering.
I agree.
Parenting classes will help you learn how to navigate through this.
There's got to be more.
Now let us reflect on one of the most compelling conclusions in paternity court.
I realized that there was a petition for divorce. We've seen, now that we've consented to the anger management and the parenting courses, is it safe to say that we're going to work on this marriage?
Yes.
Yes.
Wonderful. So we won't be needing this, right?
Right.
Fantastic.
The situation escalates dramatically as Miss Touré accuses Mr. Lacey of being an absent father to their adult son, Trevon. She is resolute in her quest to establish his paternity and to put an end to his justifications. The judge prepares for a tumultuous confrontation, signaling that the unfolding drama is only beginning.
Ray, you are in court to prove to your ex-boyfriend, Mr. Lacey, that he is the biological father of your adult son, Trevon Lacey. You state that the defendant has been an absentee father full of excuses witnesses, and you want it all to end today in court with the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
A significant revelation emerges when Mr. Ray presents the birth certificate, showcasing it as undeniable evidence that lists Mr. Lacey as Trevin's father. He refutes this claim, asserting that he was incarcerated at the time of Trevin's birth.
Your Honor, I could not have signed the birth certificate. I was not. I was incarcerated at the time Trayvon was born.
So this birth certificate, child's name, Trayvon Lacey's father's name, Larry Lacey, but it's typed in. Was he present at the birth?
He was not present, no.
You basically just gave them his name.
I gave him his name.
And they typed it in.
Yeah.
Financial matters complicate the situation further, as Mr. Lacey reveals that he has been paying child support for years, which has reduced his debt to $55,000.
You owe $37,200 and some odd dollars in child support, which you have
knocked it down to $5,000.
You've got about $5,800.
You know, sometimes during them years I was unemployed. As soon as I find employment again, then, you know, my wages start being garnished.
But you've managed to pay that $37,000 down to almost $5,000.
Just when the situation seems to reach its peak, Ms. Toure unveils a shocking revelation. She alleges that Mr. Lacey disappeared after she became pregnant, living with another woman in close proximity while she dealt with the repercussions alone.
The first time I had sex with Mr. Lacey, he got me pregnant, but I didn't know it at the time. So Mr. Lacey told me he left and went out of town. He disappeared. I don't know where he went, but later on down the road, as time revealed, he was living a double life. It was another woman in the neighborhood that he had left me for. So at that time, I thought, you know, it was over.
The drama takes an unexpected turn as Mr. Lacey recounts a bizarre incident involving another man in his pajamas at his home. Ms. Toure vehemently denies this claim, creating a comical yet tense moment.
When I came back into town, I knock on the door, and the door opened. I see my pajamas. Mr. Toure has on the pajama top.
That is not true to me.
The gentleman has on the pajama bottom. I didn't argue. I didn't fuss. I turned around. I tell my cousin, I said, come on, let's go. So we left.
So do you remember this incident with the pajamas, Mr. Wright?
He is straight lying. I'm telling you, Your Honor.
The atmosphere shifts dramatically with Trevin's entrance, as he shares his experiences of growing up without a father figure, expressing feelings of confusion and reliance on his mother, who raised 3 children independently.
I believe, you know, growing up with my mom, you know, there's a lot of things that I wish we could have been there with, you know, as far as her having to be my father as well as my mother. I feel like if you were there, it was a lot of, you know, heartache and headaches, which I believe are your grandchildren. They have a right to know who their grandfather is.
True.
I want to let you know that. I'm just ready to get these results so we can move forward in our life.
The truth begins to unravel when Ms. Toure confesses the existence of another potential father, leaving Trevin in shock and destabilizing his understanding of his identity.
Mom, do you know where this other man is?
I have no idea where he is, but he's aware that I was pregnant and Larry came back and all that. He's given me pictures, you know, just in case this situation came out where the DNA say he is the father. He would be interested in getting back into my son's life.
You didn't know any of that was going on, did you?
No, ma'am.
And I'm sorry for that, son. I should have told you.
The pivotal moment arrives as the DNA results are revealed.
Determined by this court. Mr. Lacey, you are the father.
Thank you, Your Honor. I told you. I told you. Now stand up, give my son his respect.
Narrative unfolds like a tumultuous roller coaster from the very beginning, as the judge initiates the case of Curtis versus Buckley. Ms. Curtis asserts that Mr. Buckley is the father of her son, Xavier.
Ms. Curtis, you say this court date is extremely important to you. You're here to prove to your ex-fiancé, Mr. Buckley, that he fathered your 22-month-old son, Xavier, because his denial has left you homeless and in need of help.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Curtis recounts how Mr. Buckley's actions led her and her child to reside in a homeless shelter, sharing poignant details about her life as resident 1625.
Them being in and out of our life and kicking us, not only me, but his son out of his apartment. We landed in a homeless shelter. I was known as resident 1625, sleeping in a twin-size bed with my son.
That's not true.
Sharing
not kick her out.
Everything with other residents in the homeless shelter.
You say he kicked you out, Ms. Curtis?
He went to his landlord.
Curtis retorts that conception only requires one viable sperm, transforming the courtroom into a battleground of scientific arguments and emotional turmoil.
I don't think I can have kids for multiple reasons.
It only takes one fast woman.
I was in a relationship before, and we tried to conceive a child. We went to fertility specialists, and we were on medicine and kept up with ovulation dates and the whole nine. And as soon as we separated, she ended up having 2 other children.
Miss Curtis reminisces about her arduous 13-hour labor in the emergency C-section, during which Mr. Buckley was present.
Labor for 13 and a half hours. Mr. Buckley was with me for the whole 13 and a half hours. I have pictures of him at the hospital. I ended up having to have an emergency C-section because little Xavier's oxygen level dropped and he was in distress. And when I woke up and they wheeled me by the nursery to see him, Mr. Buckley was standing there with tears running down his face. That was the moment that I fell in love with Mr. Buckley.
Miss Curtis defends herself, asserting that these individuals were merely friends, one of whom was learning English, further intensifying the drama.
She done came and confided in me and told me about the other guys.
What exactly could you see from your door to hers?
I could see men coming out of this door. And
How? When I don't even use that door.
And her running up to the Africans up at the other apartments up top.
The Africans I was teaching English to because he came from Africa and didn't speak English. He didn't speak English.
The issue of child support emerges as the next contentious point, with Miss Curtis accusing Mr. Buckley of resigning from his job to evade financial responsibility.
Are you currently paying child support?
No, he quit his job so he wouldn't have to.
I'm working right now. I'm missing out on work right now. I just started back.
Father's name, Xavier Buckley.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's you.
Correct.
You signed it voluntarily.
Yes, Your Honor.
And is there a child support order?
Yes, Your Honor.
He was supposed to pay $216 a month, and then when he quit his job, they dropped it down to $80 a month.
The DNA results are about to be revealed.
Determined by this court, Mr. Buckley, you are not his father.
Oh, baby.
Well, thanks for watching. If you love this drama-filled ride, be sure to like the video and subscribe for more exciting content. And don't stop now. Dive into more videos full of surprises, suspense, and unforgettable moments. See you in the next one.
At this point, when Jeffrey was 10, was your husband paying child support for Jeffrey?
He was paying child support for Jeffrey already, and we didn't see Jeffrey again until he was, I want to say maybe like 15 or so. He stopped by the house one day.
And you didn't make any effort to stay in contact with him?
Paying child support doesn't necessarily translate into having custody of a child, even if the child wishes for it. Also, how come a mother won't see the child she supposedly birthed, and she would be fine with that? Paternity court really shows how heartless some parents can be. Child support can be emotionally, physically, and psychologically tasking, especially if there are doubts surrounding the child's paternity. Most men don't even want to pay child support when they are sure the child is theirs, not to mention the men that aren't sure.
Connor, you say a one-time fling with the defendant turned into more than 15 years of child support payments and even jail time you have never believed is yours. You need today's results to prove you are not her child father.
Mr. Connor's one-time fling has put him in trouble as he owes 15 years of child support and has even been to jail. Mr. Connor firmly believes he isn't the biological father of Ms. Wallace's child. Ms. Wallace claims Mr. Connor knows he's the father of her child, and he should just pay up what he owes. There's also the child in question, Mr. Wallace, who is now a young adult claiming he trusts his mother. But lately, there have been reasons to doubt everything.
Because I need to undo a terrible injustice that's been inflicted upon me and my family. It's caused a lot of problems. Poor thing. I've even been to jail November the 5th until January 2006.
That was so sad to hear. Mr. Connor lost everything and had to start over while he was already pushing 40. That must have been tough on him. Mr. Connor regrets this one mistake of laying with Ms. Wallace just one time. Mr. Connor is still owing some bucks, and to top it all off, he's been to jail. That's a dent in his reputation. He will be turned down at different job positions just because of that factor.
Just wants off child support. For one, it was more than just a one-night fling.
And I have you on Facebook.
We have fingers because I'm an adult. But
no,
Your
you're
Honor,
not. What kind of
I'm 40.
adult?
I raised my 3 kids by myself.
It seems these two grown-ups are singing a nursery rhyme with their, I don't back and forth. Ms. Wallace says Mr. Connor didn't know what she and her children had to go through while growing up. But Mr. Connor says, yeah, he shouldn't know because he's not the father and his father should be blamed. Ms. Wallace also noted it was not just a one-time fling.
The relationship with Ms. Wallace was a one-night stand.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that
relationship? I met her through a family member. We all used to hang out a little bit. She changed her mind, and that was that. I never knew anything about Jeffrey. She had a friend who told me, did you sleep with Wanda?
Now that's a twist. Mr. Connor says he didn't even get to finish the act because Ms. Wallace changed her mind. Mr. Connor being unable to finish the act makes him strongly believe Ms. Wallace has been lying about him being the biological father of Ms. Wallace's son. Mr. Connor has a point, but who knows? Maybe he finished the act and is denying it in court?
In a whole year relationship and we had sex, how I found out that I was pregnant. I got sick. My mom taking me to my doctor's appointment, and that's when I found out I was 2 months pregnant. I called you a lie. Back then we had pagers. Shut your lying butt up.
Ms. Wallace seems to remember things differently than Mr. Connor did. Ms. Wallace says it was a 1-year-long relationship with several sexual encounters with each other. Ms. Wallace also claimed Mr. Connor knew about the pregnancy and all because she told him about it, so he should shut up and stop lying.
He told me that he wanted to be in his son's life. I told him I did not want to be in a relationship with him. You know what? I'm not going to even, disrespect you because I'm a woman.
That's not disrespect.
This man, he wanted to be with me and I did not want to be with him.
I wasn't there.
He never...
Mr. Connor called Miss Wallace a professional liar, but Miss Wallace says she won't match his energy because she's a woman. That's fair enough. Mr. Connor was named the child's father by default as he didn't show up to the court after he was served court papers which he claimed to have not received.
Any effort to stay in contact with him?
I did. I reached out to him on social media because he wrote a big, why was I never part of your family, that kind of stuff. So I called, told him, I'm not your dad. That's why you didn't spend time with the family.
Do you remember writing that?
I do. There was this particular scene from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air having a conversation with his home for me.
Mr. Jeffrey referencing Fresh Prince of Bel-Air makes the entire case quite emotional than it already was. Anyone who watched that particular episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air would understand better how the young man must have felt. Maybe it's time to rip the band-aid off. Will Mr. Connor be right that he isn't his father? Or Ms. Wallace will be having the last laugh?
Mr. Connor, you are not the father.
I already knew it. She committed a crime. She set me up. I knew this all the time.
I understand you are frustrated and I understand you have been through a lot.
Some men like to act like their side pieces are the only ones to be blamed for whatever the consequence of their affair is, maybe a baby or a marriage wreck. While that's a wrong notion, maybe women can also try to avoid men that make them feel less. Let's see who's at fault in Ms. Sales and Mr. Jackson's case.
Sales, you claim that you and the defendant, Mr. Jackson, were in a serious relationship and it was his idea to have a baby. But now that your 3-year-old daughter, Micaiah, is here, he denies being her father. You want him to step up and take care of his daughter. Is that correct?
Ms. Sales says her memory is as sharp as a tack, and she can remember there was a relationship beyond sexual intimacy between her and Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jackson, on the other hand, says that's false, as Ms. Sales was just his side chic. There was nothing serious going on, and he knows Ms. Sales' daughter is not his.
Because I was with D'Amico for 5 years. We were in a relationship. We had our baby, and now because he sits up and talks to his, since the day my daughter was born, because she was light-skinned with gray eyes.
Mr. Jackson, she said you were in a 5-year relationship. Is that true?
No, ma'am.
Side woman? So Mr. Jackson was so willing to have Ms. Sales in his corner because he enjoyed their sexual intimacy more than he did with any other person. Well, Ms. Sales took that seriously as she believed they were a thing with their undefined relationship for half a decade.
So did you make that clear, or were you making her feel like she was your real woman, but really you were?
He was just my side one. I made it clear to her before.
He came to my house every single day. He lived
I did,
at my house.
Regardless, you could still make a baby even though she might have been your side woman, father.
Yes, but I wasn't the only man that was smashing.
Mr. Jackson says he agrees to going over every to have a good time with Ms. Sales, which could have possibly resulted in pregnancy. But Mr. Jackson's doubts lies in the fact that he allegedly wasn't the only man having sexual relations with Ms. Sales. Ms. Sales denies the allegation, claiming Mr. Jackson was the only man she was messing with during that period she conceived.
So we had, lost contact. That's when he met his ex, and he never let me know about this relationship he had. I found out because a friend of mine, by the time he actually started trying to confess that he had a girlfriend, we had already been together for each other unprotected on the regular. He's a sorry liar, period.
Wow. Ms. Sales seems to have juice down there, listening to how Mr. Jackson couldn't hold back and went looking for her immediately she was back in town. Mr. Jackson was already back with his ex-girlfriend, but he couldn't pass up on Ms. Sales' body.
Hospital for something else.
Yes, ma'am.
I went to the doctor because I had a cyst ruptured piddle. So I was getting a lot of tests ran and things pile up. So the nurse explained that it was really hard for me to get pregnant and my chances was very slim. But at the time I had already gotten off of birth control, had sex at the hospital.
In the hospital?
Yeah, so after they, got me together and
Mr. Mr. Jackson still had sexual intimacy with Ms. Sales while they were at the hospital, and he says she's just a side piece? Ms. Sales has a point with her saying who follows their side piece to the hospital for their health issues? It seems like Mr. Jackson is in self-denial about his feelings for Ms. Sales at this point.
Seems like you at least a possibility.
Yana, one day I was on my family member house and a friend of us called. Possibility could be her baby daddy or anything like that. This was told to me.
That's a lie.
Yes, and a lot of people in the car and told me that she was riding around with this cat.
Car riding around with this guy.
Yes, Your Honor. True story.
Oh! Mr. Jackson says his doubts came to life from him getting reports about Ms. Sales riding in the car with another dude, and he heard that may be the baby daddy, but Ms. Sales says that's a lie. Ms. Sales says the person who was doing the reporting was Mr. Jackson's ex, who wanted him at all cost and would say anything to paint her black.
What about the guy with the lock?
A random person he found on my messenger that I guess had said, "What's up, sexy? Hey, baby." One of the extra 100 guys that do that too, and he picked that one out because he was light-skinned.
So you're saying he concocted the cheating story after Micaiah was born?
Yes.
One of the extra 100 guys? Ms. Sales must be so hot on Facebook. To be fair, she doesn't look bad in that stand either. She's a pretty woman. Anyway, Mr. Jackson is not falling for Ms. Sales' pretty face anymore since the fates don't add up. And to make matters worse, one of the extra 100 guys in question is white like the baby is. That makes it easy for Mr. Jackson to point fingers.
Mr. Jackson.
I am D'Amico's oldest sister.
You are his oldest sister. All right, I'd like to know what you know about this situation.
D'Amico called me crying one night because he said Ashley admitted to him that she had slept with his. I just told him to take a DNA test, which he said he tried to take one.
Ashley had faked the fallout, started crying.
Faked a fallout? Okay. Mr. Jackson's older sister claimed her brother had confided in her with Ms. Sales' alleged claim of another potential father. The whole story about a fake fallout when a DNA test was about to be done, Ms. Sales says she's not the type to do something like that. Okay, time to get this side piece true relationship story behind us.
Mr. Jackson, you are the father.
Now I know who my baby daddy is.
Miss Sales, I don't run no circus and I don't need no clown.
Understand?
We're talking about a baby.
Women always wanting a particular man to be their baby daddy, but sleeping with multiple men will forever not be funny. But hey, some women sleep with just one man and still get denied when pregnancy happens. Maybe abstaining should be the order of the day.
Ms. McDuffie, you are here today to prove that your ex-boyfriend, Mr. Edwards, is the father of your 2-year-old daughter, Samaya, child, and evading his responsibility. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have real reason to doubt you are the father of Ms. McDuffie's daughter and claim to obtain a DNA test.
Ms. McDuffie says her ex-boyfriend Mr. Edwards fathered her daughter, and she's tired of him denying that fact. Mr. Edwards says he knows for sure he didn't father Ms. McDuffie's daughter, and he can't wait for today's DNA test result to prove it.
So it's important because I know Mr. Sammy Edwards is the father. He's a pop-in and pop-out dad. One minute he's claiming her, now she's not his daughter. And at this point, I just want my daughter to be taken care of and get the same love and support. Allow him opportunity. I've never denied him from his child, and I'm still getting a
how I feel about the situation,
Ow! First man in paternity court accepting what the woman said without being forced to. That's a one-of-a-kind thing in paternity court. Okay, Mr. Edwards agrees that he's a pop-in, pop-out dad, like Ms. McDuffie said. Mr. Edwards says his reason for being that way is because he doesn't want to get too attached and later find out he's not the father. That's a fair point, but a DNA test could have been done since birth to avoid all of these.
Mr. Edwards, can you take me to the day you met Ms. McDuffie? How did you all meet?
I saw her she was a waitress behind the bar, you know what I'm saying? I really ain't, pay too much attention to her till she really, walked across all them buns and I had to proceed, so.
He had to proceed.
Yeah.
Proceeded to the buns? That's an interesting way of getting attracted to a woman and meeting her. According to Mr. Edwards, he got curved by Ms. McDuffie, which made their relationship start a little bit later than the day they met. Ms. McDuffie also agreed to that fact, but how come what happened? And Mr. Edward is now denying their alleged baby together?
Out of the situation with him, I guess. So, and that's what it is. I called her, I came and picked up, and we got good food, some good drinky drink. I guess I proceeded to those buns.
Might have proceeded to a bun in the oven too.
Right.
Mr. Edwards seems like a man with a smart mouth. Mr. Edwards knew what he wanted and didn't hesitate to cut to the chase when the time came. Ms. McDuffie is also in the stands smiling from ear to ear like they are not in paternity court, fighting over the paternity of the child they may have brought to life together.
Decide you're gonna date? Do you ever go on a date? Be in a relationship? Does this sexual relationship?
2 weeks, like a week prior to, us having sex in the car, like the second date. It was, she called me and said she was pregnant.
A week? 2 weeks?
It was a week.
No, it was not.
I really didn't believe her, so I came to the house.
Mr. Edwards claimed to have gotten Ms. McDuffie pregnancy test kits to test herself at home, and that was how he knew. There's Ms. McDuffie saying that wasn't how she found out she was pregnant because a blood test was what gave her the results. Well, Mr. Edwards doesn't seem to care so much about that, seeing his uncaring tone and attitude.
I'm not gonna lie to you, a part of me was excited, even though we really didn't know each other, because, you know, I love kids, and I'm like, man, this child may not mind. Especially, I moved her in, you know what I'm saying, and what made me feel like the side that made me, and his whole family hit me up.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
What?
Mr. Edwards got harassed by Ms. McDuffie's ex-boyfriend family on social media. That's nasty. Who goes on social media to yell in another man's face about a baby's paternity? Anyway, Ms. McDuffie tries to deny that ever happened, but from the look of things, it seemed like that indeed happened.
Oh, he can't have kids because we went to the sperm doctor and they said his sperm is this and that, but she just recently said she keep in contact with this guy. He has a daughter. So I'm like,
oh.
How come a man that has been told he can't have kids end up having kids after a short period? Yeah, miracles happen, but some things are just plain lies. Maybe this is one. Ms. McDuffie says she's been open about everything to Mr. Edwards since the very beginning. So Mr. Edwards cannot start acting like he hasn't been informed earlier.
Because we weren't in a we weren't in a relationship. We weren't boyfriend and girlfriend. He was just like a friends with benefits. It was never a relationship in the beginning, and I openly expressed that to Sammy at the time.
Said, Miss McDuffie, that really is. That's not what you testified to, but as you getting going, you just
It's not a lie. It's not a lie.
You can just look at her. You weren't.
Exactly.
Ms. McDuffie seems to be getting her own testimony wrong. Ms. McDuffie says she's an honest person, and she's always open about her dealings to which Mr. Edwards agreed to. But this particular story she just said doesn't make sense, and she has them mismatched. Let's see if she hasn't gotten her baby daddy's identity mismatched.
Mr. Edwards, you are the father.
You knew that, though.
I honestly didn't know.
You knew that.
I honestly didn't know.
You are the father.
Definitely. I'm gonna check and cheese that thing right after this.
Confiding in one's partner might be risky. While the partner that wants to come clean may be thinking they would work it out and get past it, the other party might be unable to ever get over it, and that may ruin the relationship for good. The relationship can sometimes survive the storm, but that doesn't happen every time. Let's see how it goes for Mr. Jungwirth and Ms. Sandknop in this case.
Mr. Jungwirth, you claim the defendant's infidelities not only caused you to cancel your wedding, you're demanding a paternity test to prove you are not the father. Ms. Sandknop, you honest with Mr. Jungwirth, turmoil in your household. Mr. Jungwirth is your child's father.
Mr. Jungwirth's claim translates into Ms. Sandknop committed a grace mistake, which made him pull out of their wedding, and now he doubts the paternity of their 2-year-old. Ms. Sandknop says she confided in her partner, but it ended up biting her back in the butt. However, Ms. Sandknop says she's sure Mr. Jungwirth is her baby daddy.
This ring, Your Honor, our loyalty, our trust, our family, the way we handle things day to day is at stake.
That's a lot, and your ability to be a family.
Yes, Your Honor.
I mean, if he's still having trust issues, then what are we doing here? Why are we still together?
He's unable to move forward with the wedding until he knows for sure.
Yes.
And that hurts you as well.
Yes.
Mr. Jungwirth says everything is at stake if the result comes back negative. Mr. Jungwirth is ready to walk away from everything concerning Ms. Sandknop if the baby isn't his. Ms. Sandknop, on the other hand, says she had no reason to lie to Mr. Jungwirth again since she already came clean about her mistake. But Ms. Sandknop is failing to understand the doubts had already been set in motion, and it will take a lot to get rid of them.
When I found out that she was pregnant, she, at first I thought it was a joke, but then,
I sent him a picture of the paper of the HC positive test that the doctor had given me. He didn't believe it was the truth.
So you were very happy.
Oh, yeah, extremely.
I can see the emotion now.
What a beautiful love story. High school sweethearts, young parents with a beautiful baby. Mr. Jungwirth asked Ms. Sandknop to be his wife in the heat of the moment, but unfortunately, the wedding didn't happen. Ms. Sandknop is wiping her tears like a heart-shattering incident happened shortly after. Now we need to know where it all went wrong.
It was right before Christmas. We got in a petty argument for a couple days, and I ended up just wanting to give him his space because he didn't want to talk to me, and I really didn't. So I went to the bar and I got drunk, and I ended up not remembering anything that happened to me that night, and my intention wasn't to cheat on him. I didn't go out to have sex with another guy.
Mrs. Sandknop claimed to have gone to just relax in a bar, but only remember taking a few sips from her drink and waking up in somebody's bed. It looks like Ms. Sandknop got drugged if her story is true, but Mr. Jungwirth isn't ready to hear that story because it seems like a convenient excuse to make.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you know
I
if
felt
you had
guilt
had
immediately.
sex?
I have no clue. I tried, while I was gathering my things, I was looking around, in the garbage can, and trying to see if I could find a condom or a condom wrapper, but I didn't find either. Asleep in his bed, and I woke up, I gathered my things, and I left partially.
Miss Sandknop couldn't tell Mr. Jungwirth immediately after it had happened, but then again, she couldn't hold it in when a baby was already in the equation. Miss Sandknop looks like she's been honest judging from her expression, but never say never. Mr. Jungwirth can't be blamed for acting up since he doesn't know for sure if Miss Sandknop is being honest.
It's not just him that's hurting, it's me hurting too, because that 3% possibility that he's not her father, I won't be able to tell her who her father is because I don't know.
And I can see that upsets you.
It's one thing to know if the man in paternity court is not the father. You can contact the other potential father. It's another thing to not know who the other potential father is. Ms. Sandknop's situation is devastating. Mr. Jungwirth's calculation seems to tally as the window of conception matches Ms. Sandknop's unexplainable mistake.
Did you ever try to find the other guy?
I tried my brain to try and remember anything. I can't even remember the name of the bar, remember anything about that night.
And how do
And
I
you
know?
have no idea.
No clue whatsoever.
And I have no clue if this is the only time that she don't remember.
Hold on now, Mr. Jungwirth, you said something important.
Wait a minute, Mr. Jungwirth did all of that and he's acting like he hasn't done anything to hurt this woman back? That's not cool. Well, back to the reason these two are in paternity court. Miss Sandknop says she genuinely can't remember anything dating back to the unfortunate day. Hopefully the baby's father is the man in the stand to avoid a child growing up without knowing her father.
I trust him 100%. I trust him.
Do you trust her, Mr. Jungwirth?
No, he does not.
Not wholeheartedly.
Well, you
no.
asked the court for a lie detector test, and that lie detector test was administered. We will have those results in just a moment. One of the reasons why you don't trust her, but why?
There's been, in the beginning, even while she was pregnant with our...
Mrs. Sandknop is so emotional, and we can all see why. Ms. Sandknop says she hasn't been messing around, and even the unsaved number was a friend of Mr. Jungwirth. And what's with the name calling? Mr. Jungwirth could have just let Ms. Sandknop go if he couldn't get past the situation on sane grounds. It's time to put Ms. Sandknop and Mr. Jungwirth out of their misery of not being sure about the paternity of their child.
You were asked if you had sexual relations with anyone other than Mr. Jungwirth since the one-night stand you admitted to. You said no. The lie detector determined that was the truth.
I told you! Not everybody is on this earth to hurt your feelings.
You do understand, however, that Peyton's paternity is still in doubt.
Yes, Your Honor, I do understand.
We looked at the calendar.
In-laws being actively involved in a marriage can either be a blessing or a curse. While some in-laws are the best thing that could happen to a wife, some in-laws can be a real pain in A's, and these two options can either make or mar a marriage.
Mr. Gray, you are suing your wife and the mother of your daughter for a paternity test. You and your parents claim Mrs. Gray lied to you about her sexual past, and since the baby is not your biological daughter. Mrs. Gray, you claim that your in-laws' influence is meant to deny his child. You also say your husband has not.
Mr. Gray wasn't aware of Ms. Gray's past life, and upon knowing how Ms. Gray's life was back on the day, Mr. Gray and his family doubts the paternity of their child. However, Ms. Gray stated that Mr. Gray is getting carried away with his family's words, and she knows for a fact that Mr. Gray fathered her baby.
Well, considering the fact that the first time that she come to our home, that particular day she and...
How old were they when...
She was 14 and he was 15 years old.
Okay, my mouth off the ground.
Okay.
They went to his bedroom and had sex.
Yes, ma'am.
A 14 and a 15-year-old going into the bedroom to do what grown-ups do is wild enough, but Mr. Gray's mother making it seem like it was only Ms. Gray's fault makes it even worse. Maybe an advanced kind of parenting could have hindered that from happening, ma'am. Anyway, Mr. Gray's mother finding out Ms. Gray knew how to use a pregnancy test kit made her more mad. Well, maybe she was paying more attention in sex ed.
Was enrolled in school. He'd always been involved in sports, popular child. He always made very good decisions. He had a relationship before. I had furnished him a condom in case he ever wanted to have sex.
Discussion with him about responsibility?
Absolutely, positively. He had a complete goal. He was going to be a police officer, and everything changed.
Mr. Gray's mother already furnished him with condoms in case of situations like that of his and Ms. Gray's, but all of a sudden, Mr. Gray's mother is not blaming her son for not using the condom he had gotten her. She's blaming Ms. Gray instead for loving a fast life. Mr. Gray's mother is talking about the bright future as a police officer, like he couldn't still go on to be one if he wanted.
Yes, Your Honor. Caitlin and I, we met through Facebook. Went out on our first date to a basketball game. About a week later, we had our second date, and she came to my mother's house. She stayed for a couple days.
Oh, the second date lasts a couple days?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, 15 and 14 years old, 2-day dates? Never heard of such.
A date is supposed to last a couple hours, but Mr. Gray and Ms. Gray's date is different, seeing how it lasts for 2 days. Mr. Gray's mother says they were supposed to be by the Christmas tree, so maybe they got away while she wasn't looking.
You found out that that she was pregnant, did you feel like this could possibly be my child?
No, I didn't, because when she was 14 years old and I was 15, we decided to have sex. And I figured at my house at such a young age, why wouldn't she have sex with somebody else? I knew for a fact that I had details on reasons why the baby couldn't be mine.
Mr. Gray's mother is doing a lot more than the two people directly involved in the case. But what's with the baby coming out black, and Ms. Gray's family still saying Mr. Gray has to accept that's his baby? A black baby from two white parents just doesn't seem plausible, even in biology.
Did you say on that date, that second long date?
But he also agreed to, because obviously I turned up pregnant.
So you all are 14 and 15 years old, two babies making a decision that y'all gonna have a baby.
Yeah.
Why? Because you all feel like you hit it off so much?
A 14 and 15-year-old making plans about having a baby? That's insane. It's either their parents brought them up to think like this, or their infatuation got the best of them and made them think that was the way to go. These kids don't even know how to fill up important personal forms in a hospital just yet, not to talk of cuddling up and talking about making babies. Oh well, the baby has been made.
And she admitted to it. She actually admitted to him sleeping with 6 other people than me.
6 different guys at 14 years old? Hollywood has got to slow down with the rated movies. The little lady hasn't even done her sweet 16th birthday, and her reproductive part has been working overtime. Whew, they may not have allowed Mr. Gray's mother to conduct a DNA test then, but here we are now.
Why Mr. Gray may have doubt about your child, considering you admitted to sleeping with 6 other young men.
Yes, Your Honor.
I want to hear from your witness, Ms. Gray. You have your grandmother,
Yes,
Ms.
Your Honor.
Woolhart, here. Good morning. Good morning. How are you, ma'am?
I'm good. How are you?
Ms. Gray's grandmother said she's been the one caring for the child for years, but Mr. Gray's mother interrupted her, saying she had tried her best to be there for the baby, and for the fact that they doubt the paternity of the baby so much, maybe she has tried enough. Okay, that's valid. Let's find out if Mr. Gray's family will have to resume taking care of the child, or it will be left to Ms. Gray's family for good.
Mr. Gray, you are her father.
I love you guys so much.
Now that's what I want to see. That is a wonderful example